Eat bugs.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, May 10, 2015. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 720.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating matrons worldwide and broadcasting live from the Crackpot Condo in FEMA Region 6 in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley in the Tower of Terror, where I won't botch the opening. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I'm Johnson.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill
in the morning.
You were so low on that. If I had to ride the levels to just get you out of the mist.
Here I am.
Yeah. In the morning, too.
Finally, yeah. Out of the mist.
Out of the mist in the terror, or the Tower of Terror. Yeah.
All right.
I bet kids, they walk around your house with a wide berth. It's the crazy guy.
No, they walk around trying not to fall down.
It's that crazy guy there in the Tower of Terror. Don't look. Yeah. Well, let's say Happy Mother's Day right off the bat.
Happy Mother's Day to you, Mother.
Happy Mother's Day, Mama. Neither of our mothers are with us?
No, this is true.
Yeah.
Well, in spirit, perhaps.
Yeah. I get melancholy.
Again,
I get melancholy on days like this. I do. I really do. I do.
I mean, I would say no to that because of the number of listeners, producers, and supporters who chimed in about Mother's Day 0.
I know. This is part of the melancholy, you see. Everyone who listens to this show hates their mom.
Yeah.
No mom donations. Good
0.
work. Well, to be fair, your newsletter was about eating bugs. It was a little distracting.
I know, but I did the one before that was about the Mother's Day. You got nothing.
So what is this bug thing? This is. I think I've heard this for a while, a couple of years. This has been bubbling under, but now it was. Was it Ban Ki-moon who came out and said that?
The more corrupt of the two, Kofi Annan.
Oh, Kofi Annan. Oh, Mr. World Food Program.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy, yeah.
Eat bugs.
While I steal the food money.
And he goes on, he says, 3 million people eat bugs. Why don't you? Why don't you Westerners?
Well, this is an appropriate question. I've eaten grasshoppers.
You do? You eat them? You routinely eat grasshoppers?
No, of course not. But I have.
You serve them for dinner for friends?
No, I have. I'm just saying I have.
You served them for dinner?
No, I have eaten them. They've been served to me.
I refuse to eat bugs. Screw it. I'm too old for this crap.
Let me just scratch off that Survivor episode they wanted you for. Okay.
Fine.
You're off the list. Anyway, by presidential proclamation, this is, of course, Mother's Day. The president has proclaimed it thus. But a little twist today. A little twist.
This time to play a little chubby checker.
You got a little twist. Each May, Americans dedicate a day to honor the remarkable women who strive and sacrifice all year to ensure ours is a nation where all things are possible. Whether married or single, LGBT or straight, biological, adoptive, or foster, mothers are the bedrocks of our lives and the foundation of our society. Very nice. They are our first friends and teachers. That's interesting. The president even got a little melancholy on this whole thing. I don't know.
I wonder why.
I don't know. His mother's also gone, isn't she?
Yes, of course.
Of course. I don't know about that.
Of course.
All right.
Can't rig the whole thing the way they're doing it with the mom around.
No. So, let me see. What you been doing?
Eating bugs?
I went to Swan Lake last night. To the ballet.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it? Have you ever been?
Who took you? Yeah.
No, but
who took you to? Who?
I got the tickets myself. I saw it announced, the Austin Ballet, and I said,
So let me get this
I've never seen Swan Lake. I might as well do it now. Is that so strange?
Oh my God, Swan Lake is playing. Let me get some tickets immediately.
I knew you were going to be a dick about it.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Swan Lake?
Yeah.
Apparently, you thought it was no good.
I thought it was a little slow moving.
What I liked the most, it was over before you knew it. This I liked. The way they have it set up here in the Long Center, so you can, just like Broadway, you can take your drink in a sippy cup, which works great. Sippy cup. And then you can prepay for the intermission, and then your drink is sitting there waiting for you. And the intermission is like 35, 40 minutes, intermission, then another 20, and another 20. Boom, we're done. It was nice. I liked it. I like Tchaikovsky. So I'm
glad to hear that.
I already knew the music. I've never seen. Look, it was not Nureyev on stage. Okay, I can tell you that.
Was this some fat guy? I mean, what's the deal?
No, come on. Have you seen Nureyev dance versus anybody? Come on.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Or Baryshnikov, or any of these guys.
It's Baryshnikov.
Yeah, it was nice. Look, listen.
We have one of the best ballet companies in the world here in San Francisco. You know.
You do. I know. The thing I really thought was cool is I'd never seen it before, and people in 1877 were watching the same performance on stage. I think
They're still watching.
That's kind of cool. Did you think that in 200 years people will be listening to the No Agenda show?
Let's hope not.
Hey, what's this thing? USB stick. What the hell is that?
USB stick.
Would you look at these CDs?
That's the problem with doing topical material.
What are these shiny discs?
I've always found that to be disappointing.
What?
Topical material. It has no legs.
I mean, historical topical material.
No, topical material like what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are recording.
Who reads the London Times from 1840? Nobody.
No. True. But,
So you enjoyed the show. Who'd you take?
And Nurse Tracy. Of course. She's my cultural attaché. Hello.
Did she enjoy it?
Yeah.
That's all that counts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I liked it.
How much did the tickets cost?
Oh, don't even get me started. They had tickets starting
to me. Let me guess what they would be if I'm thinking. Let me try to think logically about this. You're in Austin, Texas. Now it's a kind of one of these capital towns, those capital city.
People were dressed up.
So there's got to be a lot of pretense.
People were dressed up. It's the Long Center, which is our big.
Did you wear a tux?
No. There were people with bow ties and all that stuff.
Any tuxes?
A couple, yeah. The women all dressed up, all purdy.
You look great in a tux.
I do look good.
Tall guy in a giant tux.
I do look good in a tux.
Armani.
By the way, it was Hugo Boss who.
Yes. Oh, right. I wanted to do a mea culpa.
Please,
I actually listed it.
Hit your mea
culpa.
culpa.
It was not Armani who made the suits for the SS Waffen SS or anybody else in Germany. It was Hugo Boss,
and they look cool. You got to be honest.
Yes, and Hugo Boss's stuff still looks good.
Hey, Hugo, can I have one of those armbands? I really like what you did.
For the armband.
Really like what you did there.
The error in judgment.
Oh, man.
All right. What do we have to talk about?
Well, there's different things. Maybe you would like to start it off with, I think you predicted it correctly.
I did.
The election in the UK.
Right.
And as you predicted, this is the whole media narrative of it being very close, too close to call, which is just to soak the parties and any money they can just to suck it up and soak it in, to take it. But it didn't seem that close at all.
Well, let's start with a couple of clips that reaffirm this problem that nobody in the media wants to identify for obvious reasons, because it would just be taking money out of their own pockets.
That's the gig.
So they're stunned by this sort of thing. So let's play a couple of these clips indicating that. Let's try Cameron's surprise win. This is on Deutsche Welle.
All right, now to the other story here in Europe dominating the headlines, that dramatic outcome of the British general election.
Dramatic.
The polls predicted a dead heat between the Conservatives and the Labour Party. Prime Minister David Cameron pulled off a stunning and decisive victory. Cameron's Tories won a clear mandate.
Yeah, they'll now form a majority Conservative government, leaving all the major contenders in political freefall.
Yay, political freefall.
Yeah.
And Farage.
Here's another one. Cameron win. This is the PBS.
Joining me for more on the outcome is Robin Niblett. He's the director of Chatham House, an independent policy institute in London.
Yeah, independent. Mm-hmm.
Is this number 2 you're playing?
I think it's number 1. Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. No. They're both named. That's weird.
No, it's just one.
Here we go. Yeah, I got it.
The United Kingdom woke up on this day after national elections to find the same political party in charge, but with a message from voters that will take some sorting out. In the end, it was a trouncing by the Tories as Prime Minister David Cameron and his Conservative Party won an outright majority in Parliament. He'll return to number 10 Downing Street for another 5-year term after a bruising campaign.
We must ensure that we bring our country together.
I don't know what happened to that clip. Skip it. Go to the number 2 clip.
Joining me for more on the outcome is Robin Niblett. He's the director of Chatham House, an independent policy institute in London. Robin Niblett, welcome. So how do you read these results?
Well, they're remarkable in the sense that no one predicted them coming out quite the way they did. People thought the Conservatives might be able to cobble together a majority, but an outright majority was not expected. I think it tells us that at some level the British people are still pretty cautious.
Yeah, sure.
And we must do one more, just to keep pounding this home, which is British arithmetic.
Ah, yes, of course.
Party leader Ed Miliband has now resigned.
Britain needs a Labour Party that can rebuild after this defeat so we can have a government that stands up for working people again. And now it's time for someone else to take forward the leadership of this party.
2 other leaders have also quit. First, Nick Clegg of the Liberal Democrats, who was Deputy Prime Minister in the previous coalition government.
For the Liberal Democrats.
Right. Then Nigel Farage of the Eurosceptic party, UKIP. It attracted 13% of the vote, but only won 1 seat. A bitter pill for Farage, but that's British electoral arithmetic.
You know, there's a big thing going on. There's a bunch of protests that weren't covered by the media.
I'm going to disagree with you right there because it was covered by the media.
Well,
I saw, yes, by the BBC even.
Then I stand or sit, as it were, corrected. But let's talk about this PR thing, which is the proportional representation, which is they're fussing about.
Well, the losers are fussing about it for sure.
Yeah, but look at this. I mean, I've got a list of these. Here's the percentage wins. It's the Conservatives got 36% of the vote. Labour got 30% of the vote. And, it's reflective. Yeah. The Liberal Democrats got 8 votes. The UKIP got 1. The SNP, the Scots, they got 56 members in, and the others were 23. And if you look at the vote percentage, it's 36 for the Conservatives, 30 for the Labour. The next group that comes after that is UKIP with 13%.
Yeah.
They got 1%. Then under them is the Liberal Democrats, who got 8 people with 7.9% of the vote. The Scots only had 4.7% of the vote, and they got 56 people in, as though there's some giant revolution taking place, which I think is a mistake to think about. And then others, including the Green Party, had only 7% of the vote, and they got 23 people. Not the Green Party didn't get 23, but other got 23. So UKIP is the 3rd most popular group, obviously, in the country. They got 1 joker.
Well, we can't have them doing anything of any substance.
Well, it's the style of the way the elections are. They have these little groups. They have like a small contingent.
But is it really that different? I mean, of course, it's different, but in fairness,
we do it differently.
Electoral college,
it with gerrymandering.
Yeah, and bribery and hookers and blackmail. That's how we roll.
Yeah, we do it much different.
And it's more fun for everybody, let's be honest. You may lose, but did you see that hooker?
The problem is for me, is that Farage thinks he's going to quit now.
No, he's not quitting. He's coming back in September. I've already seen this happening.
Well,
he's going to run. He's going to come right back. September, October. Farage will be back.
He's the one who got them up to 13%. Almost, I think almost single-handedly at least. But whether they're ever going to get enough, to do it the right way to get 13% of the right groupings.
So is there an easy way to explain exactly how this happens with the UK system? So our producers at work or around the water cooler can speak with it
Yeah, the easy way is that it's kind of the British version of gerrymandering. You can get, like, say they got 13% of the overall vote, but it was like just under in a bunch of different areas where they were trying to run people against very popular candidates. It's an arithmetic thing. It's like you can't.
Well, what is it based on? Is it based on area?
If you run everyone, if you run everywhere as a UKIP, all kinds of UKIP candidates run and they all lose, but they get a close number of votes to the guy who won. Okay,
yeah. So they lose. They lose that particular district or area.
Yeah, but they got a lot of votes, but didn't help. So what? You got a lot of votes. I mean, Gary Johnson ran as the Libertarian and got 1 million votes. Mm-hmm. So what? What does that accomplish? You got 1 million votes. So he actually almost got 2 million votes. Mm. I voted for him, by the way.
So there were some protests outside Parliament, I believe. BBC did cover it, despite it didn't take long. People tweeting, being like, "This is not being covered. Blackout, media, blackout, blackout."
Well,
no, not really.
There were those. That wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. Blackout, media, blackout.
Traffic cones and smoke bombs were thrown at the police as they confronted demonstrators in Whitehall. The police said 4 of their officers and 1 civilian member of staff were injured. 2 required hospital treatment. It started as a demonstration outside the gates of Downing Street against the election of a new Conservative government and what the protesters saw as 5 more years of austerity and welfare cuts.
Exactly. Yeah. Bend over, here it comes again, people.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing.
Now the problem I see in England is going to be...
The Brexit.
Well, that is coming for that. That's not going to happen. Let's face it. They're going to manipulate that so they vote. Oh, we love the EU. Uh-huh. There's no way they're getting out. but the Conservatives now feel they have a mandate because before they won the majority this time, the last election they didn't have the majority, so they had to do a deal with the Liberal Democrats, which I think cost the Liberal Democrats all these seats. They lost like 50 of them or something because the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives shouldn't be in bed together. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And it looks like the Liberal Democrats sold out. So now that the Conservatives don't have to deal with these guys, these characters, they can now run roughshod over the country, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. But, I found it... of course, the minute we were done with the show on Thursday, I was watching, I don't know. It's a boring process. At least we have hats and streamers, and we got little whistles and stuff. Hats and streamers.
They need hats.
They do. You'd expect that they would know about hats and have that going for them, but no.
Well, I think it might make it more entertaining when they have that parliamentary thing they do every week, I guess, where they yell back and forth at each other.
Just in Parliament when they have regular session, you mean?
Yeah, the session where they come up and the guy asks questions, and the one guy, what is his name, Ed Balls, whoever it is.
How unfortunate.
They got voted out, but he always got called on because the head of the whatever it's the Parliament, the House of Commons, the head of it, who runs it, loves to yell out Ed Balls.
Well, of course. It's too funny.
Ed Balls.
Hey, I have an update. One of our producers, I want to see who sent me this. I think it was producer Alex. He's our guy in Panama. And he said, you overlooked something on the German wing's preliminary report. This is the suicide pilot. And of course, I was surprised that they did ultimately find the flight data recorder. By the way, in this report, they say they found the whole data recorder and had to pry the memory module out of it. So that official report, and it was AP, and I think everyone's reporting that the memory chip had popped out and they couldn't find it. So anyway, so now and this thing, they have a picture of it. You can't even, it's like a little blob of coal or something. And somehow they got the data off of it. But there's one little thing that I missed on page 28. And I have it here in front of me. So I'll read this is a rundown of what they recorded with the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder. Interphone sounded cockpit 4 minutes 40 after the captain had left. 3 other calls on the interphone sounded in the cockpit. None of the calls using the interphone elicited any answer. And then this is 33 seconds before impact. Yeah, I can't make this shit up. An input on the right side stick was recorded for about 30 seconds, but was not enough to disengage the autopilot. So 33 seconds, which, as we know, is usually a little bit of code.
33 seconds, okay.
33 seconds. Hello. So the right side stick, that would be the first officer side, the co-pilot. And he was apparently, if you're going to believe their whole report, he was trying to put some kind of input into the side stick, but it wasn't enough to disengage the autopilot, which I don't know enough about that particular system. And yes, autopilot doesn't disengage if you just kind of tap a little bit or do something, or at least it shouldn't, for accidental tappage. But this could mean a couple of things. One, he had remorse at the last minute, but for some reason couldn't do anything about it. Two, he just keeled over and something touched the side stick. Or he was really trying to, so they give no data. They don't tell us how much pressure was, or input was actually recorded. And, there are numbers for that. But he was trying to disengage, but perhaps the autopilot was uninterruptible. That would be my final analysis.
You're going to stick with your theory.
Yeah.
He was trying to correct the problem.
Yep.
Didn't have time to do anything. I mean, it was,
or it wouldn't have mattered how much input. I'd love to. We have a lot of Airbus airmen, and if they know anything about this, I'd love to hear from them. Because I know a lot about aviation, but I've never flown an Airbus. Nor would I, damn plastic airplane.
I've flown a simulator Airbus.
Yeah.
I crashed it, of course.
Yeah. That's very hard. It's very, very hard. So in elections here in the United States, there's a new meme that is popping up, and I actually got a story about it. I think NORAD put out a report regarding this, but I have clips from 3 different people involved in the elections, 2 who are running, and 1 who's a douchebag who is covering the elections. And the first one is presumably the front-running GOP candidate, Ted Cruz.
That the day Iran acquired operational nuclear weapons, those weapons might well be used. The threat is unacceptable. They could be used, as some discussion has been had, to launch an EMP attack.
EMP attack. Then we just got news that NORAD is returning to Cheyenne. They'd moved out of the Cheyenne Mountain near Colorado Springs, and now they're moving back in.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yes, and they say, here it is. Why? Because the enormous bunker in the hollowed-out mountain built to survive a Cold War-era nuclear conflict can also resist an electromagnetic pulse attack or an EMP.
But they would know this before they moved out. It wasn't just discovered.
Maybe they are more worried about one. We heard
maybe they moved out so something screwy could be put in there.
Yeah. Here is Michael Huckabee, also a hopeful for the Republican Party.
We face not only the threats from terrorism, but also the threat of new kinds of dangers, from a cyber war that could shut down major financial markets to threats of an electromagnetic pulse from an exploded device that could fry the entire electrical grid and take this country back to the Stone Age in a matter of minutes.
Booyah! We can fry the grid and take this country back to the Stone Age in a matter of minutes, bitches. Vote for Mike!
Right.
The hell is that?
The grid.
And then, of course, if you want to know what the agenda is being run by the Republican Party, you can listen to a couple of people. I'd suggest this guy.
Iran is detonating missiles at exactly the altitude for an EMP. What they're launching, and this is the head of their military. They keep launching these missiles, and they keep blowing up at exactly.
They keep blowing up because they're pieces of crap.
Now, you're missing the whole point. He's going to tell you they keep blowing up. Exactly.
They keep launching these missiles, and they keep blowing up at exactly the same altitude. Now, I don't know what it is, but let's just say it's 21,000 feet.
Oh, great report.
So it goes.
I don't know what it is.
There you go.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
Let's say 21,000 feet. It sounds good.
It goes up 21,000 feet. It blows up.
Yeah, blowed up.
And the press would say a failure of the missile. Next one goes up 21,000 feet, blows up. Next one, 21,000 feet, blows up. They've done this now for several years, and it keeps blowing up at exactly the same altitude. And this is what
they're doing it.
What?
Why do they have to keep doing it? They've done it for several years. Let's send it up. Boom. Send another one up. Let's do it again. What's the point?
This is what the leader of their missile program said they were asked, what do you say about all these failures? And he said, failure can only be judged when you know exactly what you're trying to do.
It's real. It's real. It's real.
Right. So this will be, and didn't we have this in the previous election cycle, in the general election, or maybe in 2008 when we had the EMP thing? Was that the last time we heard about it?
Well, I remember it was probably 2008 because I remember you were all in on it.
I still have a Faraday bag with the ham radio
have a Faraday bag.
Yeah,
you can
of course.
Wear it as a hat. What do you got on your head? A Faraday bag. Oh, okay. Well, that's better than aluminum foil. But then we went to, when you were selling your little Cessna, we ran into some guy who was an engineer and he lectured us about the impossibility of it.
What was that? I can't remember.
That was in the lounge at the airport. There was this guy who just happened to be working. He worked for Lockheed or something.
It's Oakland Airport. Was that it? I think.
Yeah, the Oakland Airport.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Well, I remember it, and the guy went on and on about this, and he discussed why this is bull crap. This whole thing is just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, for Huckabee and Cruz to say it, and Beck.
It's exciting, and I think it's been on the TV shows quite a bit. They talk about it on, it's a threat.
Well, luckily, if we need to know anything, but regardless of who becomes president, if we want to know what is going on in the military industrial complex, we have a new group and a new guy to go to, and you'll never guess who it is.
Well, it's not Bear.
Nope.
And it's a guy, so it's not
a guy. He's no longer in politics. He retired,
but he once was.
He once was a congressman, and he represented. He was the chairman of a
not Lieberman, because he was a senator.
He was a chairman of a very important committee.
The bonehead, the guy from Michigan with the radio talk show. Him,
that's the one, Mike Rogers.
Oh,
yeah.
And has the show ever gone on the air?
No, I think this was a red herring or something. No, wait a minute. His bio says he is a staple on radio. Okay.
A staple.
Shit.
What
does that even mean?
It means
staple.
A staple. I don't know. A staple, like, it's like bread. Oh yeah, Mike Rogers. Yeah, it's like bread.
So he has this new outfit called APPS. I can just see the meeting. APPS stands for Americans for Peace, Prosperity, and Security. And when you think about it, that's a horrible name for radio, because you're just going to plop in Americans for Peace and Prosperity and Securities. He has a little video on his website to explain what he is. I took off the first 30 minutes of bull crap. APPS, yeah.
But the threat matrix facing America...
Oh, let's just stop right there.
Threat matrix.
Are you ready for it? The threat matrix. It's a matrix, all right, Mike.
But the threat matrix facing America today has never been broader. From ISIS and radical Islam, a nuclear Iran, to cyber hacking attempts to disrupt our very way of life.
My very way of life.
Presidential leadership and emphasis on American security.
Will it screw my ballet next time? The very way of life? Can I not go to the ballet because of cyber?
Never been broader. From ISIS and radical Islam, a nuclear Iran, to cyber hacking attempts to disrupt our very way of life. Our presidential leadership and emphasis on American security has never been more critical. Hi, I'm Mike Rogers.
Hey, Mike.
And I formed a new organization, Americans for Peace, Prosperity, and Security, to ensure the next president is prepared to address today's threats on day one. We'll raise the level of debate by moving candidates beyond just rhetoric and talking points, and we'll inform and involve citizens in early presidential nominating states on national security issues to help elect a president who supports American engagement and a strong foreign policy. By connecting top foreign policy and business leaders with grassroots activists, APPS will be the premier national security and foreign policy organization during the 2016 debate. We are going to make a difference, and you can too. Join us. Contact APPS today. Learn more about our mission and help keep America safe and secure for your family and for the future generations of Americans.
Yes.
Who does this guy think he is?
Well, did you see who's on his board?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, he's got it. We're going to be hearing from Mike Rogers.
Let's hope not.
Greg Brown, chairman and CEO of Motorola.
Big deal.
John Coburn, former commanding general, U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Meh?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve Hadley.
Usual suspects, the guys who can make it happen, not a bunch of guys he rounded up.
I think that some of these people could make it happen.
Well, name one. I haven't heard one yet.
Okay. Let me go to their team. Team. So there's Mike. We have... I thought we had a guy from BEA Systems on there as well, which would make sense if we're going to go with Airbus.
I want to hear people's names like Kissinger.
Yeah, no, there's no one there. You're right.
Yeah, the guy's a stooge.
You don't think that?
He's like. I think what he did. He's saying, the guy who's done the best job of making something out of nothing is this character Grover Norquist.
Yeah.
And Grover Norquist, of course, shows up and he has this pledge. He makes all these Republicans sign saying they won't raise taxes. The tax pledge. Personally, if I, with my representative, and it was, let's say it was a Republican, let's say I was a Republican, and my representative signed off on this Grover Norquist pledge, I'd say, hey, my guy's supposed to be working for me, not for Grover Norquist.
Right.
I would vote him out. And this was, I think, when Roger saw how well it worked, because everyone had to sign the pledge, or they'd go after you. Oh, you're going to raise taxes. Let's vote him out. Let's bring in a conservative, some new guy, a neocon or something. So I believe, and I would also guess that Roger signed this thing. I would bet money on it.
Probably.
He said, yeah, that's a great idea. I think I can do that because there's money to be made. He thinks he's going to become a multimillionaire.
I agree. And if you look, because of course I would have them on my calendar for the next Form 990 filing. Well, not so much. Contributions are not tax deductible for federal income tax purposes. So he's just asking for money to put in his pocket.
Yeah.
Not even a nonprofit.
He wouldn't even go through the trouble of doing the 501.
No, I don't think he can. That does have restrictions with it. Certainly, if you're going to be working with Republicans, which he may be. I don't know.
Well, he's probably going for the Koch brothers' money.
Yes.
Good luck.
I thought it was funny. Apps.
It is funny. It's hilarious.
Apps. Please, Mike Rogers.
And he doesn't seem like a guy who's really that sharp. That
he seems like a guy. Well, he does a reasonably good read in front of the camera. That works. Maybe he's seeing the Huckabee route. He's like, let me get involved early, but I'll make my friends early, bring him on in this money making exercise. I'll be on the radio, and then maybe just like Mike, I can go and run for president one day.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll have to keep track of it. We have to get some copies of his show.
I don't even know if it's on the air yet.
It's got to be.
Mike Rogers. Well, let me guess. Mike Rogers Show.
Oh, yeah. It'd be definitely called the Mike Rogers
Mike Rogers Show. Oh, something to talk about.
Is it with the D or not?
No. It's something to talk about with Mike Rogers. And when is it supposed to launch? It's a Cumulus, right? This is the...
Is it Cumulus?
Yeah. Isn't that Limbaugh's guys?
No, he's EIB.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But this is Westwood One. Westwood One. Cumulus is a part of Westwood One or whatever.
I can't keep.
I don't think he's on the air yet, John. Strange.
It's probably because he stinks.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a distinct possibility.
I don't, going on a day, I think it's supposed to be a daily show.
Yeah.
And it's going to be if he's going to do a real talk show, daily talk show, that's 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And mostly you yakking because the days of the call-in have kind of slowly evolved into pontificating coming on. The best example of that would be Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
This guy comes on and he just can't stop talking.
And then he goes, then he does the TV thing. Well, once you're in that vibe, once you're really rolling on a regular schedule, it gets pretty. If you have people to help.
You have writers.
Big team,
you have a lot of help.
Team.
That's true.
Big team.
But this guy, this Hannity, I think Limbaugh does his radio show and he doesn't do anything else. Hannity does the radio show plus an hour a day.
Yeah. Of
TV, which is really is just as difficult.
Yeah,
I don't know how he even does it, but it's yak, yak, yak. A guy can't stop talking. And so Rogers goes from being kind of a dummy to this. It's not possible.
Well,
taking a lot of calls.
We'll keep our eyes on him. I miss him. You know, he was always funny when he was talking about how we're all going to die and ISIS is going to kill you in your sleep. EMPs. Cumulus, yeah. And now, of course, we're seeing all the issues are starting to crop up because whatever happens, you have to hate Republicans. They're obviously evil.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a very strange show business news, actually, that to me immediately was apparent what was going on. But I have a clip from NBC and I have a clip from CNN where both times this guy is on being interviewed. And the obvious question really doesn't come up, even though all of his talking points or memes are right in it. This is Sofia Vergara's ex-fiance.
Mike Rogers?
Yes. No, his name is Lube. Nick Lube. L-O-E-B.
L-O-B-B?
L-O-E-B. L-O-E-B.
Loeb.
Yeah, I said Lube. I like Lube better. Now, he's an elite. He is from isn't he somehow related to the Lehman Brothers family? He'd been around. Actually, he also worked for his uncle's film studio, Universal Studios, as an advisor. Primary Colors.
There he is.
Here it is. He worked with he worked with Lehman Brothers. That's what it was. Anyway, so he's an elite, and here's what happened. He and Sofia Vergara froze 2 impregnated embryos. I know this is why it's a fascinating story. It's a fascinating story, and so they broke up. The way he tells the story, not in these clips, is. They tried to. She wanted to have a surrogate, so that they implanted 2 embryos into a surrogate, and one was rejected. The other was a miscarriage. And it took him like 4 years, and then eventually they broke up, as he says, because he really wanted kids and she didn't. But they had frozen.
She's got like the body to crank out kids. She's nuts. Well, she is like, if you look at her,
you don't know what her reasons are. That's not for you to say.
I know what her reasons are. She's a screwball actress. Her reasons are, it's going to ruin my girlish figure.
Screwball actress.
That's her reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, on No Agenda, you hear what everybody's actually thinking.
Yeah.
Screwball actress. And by the way, as we know, never marry an actress. It's a bad idea.
I mean, Scarlett Johansson was pregnant, had a couple of kids so far, and she was pregnant during the filming of this movie.
So this guy is suing now for his 2 girls back. He said they're girls, but he went almost. He didn't name them, but he could have. And so now the controversy, which is clearly
who has the girls.
They're frozen.
Oh, you mean okay?
The girls are frozen. Sophia has a new guy, and I think he has I don't know if he has a new whatever, but he wants to have him back, and he wants to raise the girls. He said, "I want bring my girls # bring my girls back." But of course,
they're not frozen eggs. Then they're embryos.
I said embryos.
Yeah, you did say embryos, but I was not registering this as though they were fertilized eggs.
Yes.
Well, how do they know they're girls? Or is he just wishful thinking?
Well, this is exactly what the debate should be about, but it's Hollywood, so this is going to spin up, and then this is an obvious place this has to go.
You each signed an agreement saying neither of you would bring this embryo to term without the other's consent. I mean, it sort of seems like a dead issue at this point, is it? Sofia Vergara, a beautiful actress. She's about to get married. She's starting this new life, very successful. She doesn't want to have a child with her ex. You are perceived as the guy who cannot let go of a relationship. She wants to move on.
We filed this back in October. This is not something that is new. This has nothing to do with this at all. This has to do with bigger, really moral, legal and ethical concepts that are out there about lives that we've already created and nothing to do with anything else.
Nick, a lot of people look at this timing.
He's wrong. It's got a lot to do with something else.
Yes.
The movie with Sofia Vergara and Reese Witherspoon. That's a dog, a turkey out there. They're trying to get some attention. That's what it's about.
I didn't know she had a movie out. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, there's that.
They say this timing is so weird. All right. The op-ed comes out.
He also wrote an op-ed in the New York Times about this case, which, of course, if I write an op-ed, do you think the New York Times is going to publish it? No.
Right at the very time that Sophia...
No.
Yes,
No.
It's possible.
No. They won't even publish Uncle Don's op-eds anymore.
Well, there's reasons for that.
Yeah. She's promoting this movie. She's on the red carpet. She's doing all that kind of stuff. And then, boom, this comes out. It looks sort of like a publicity thing.
Sure.
You want press.
Sure. Unfortunately, I didn't even come out with the story to begin with. It was leaked to the press. There was comments made by her team in the press, I felt that I needed to come out and correct the record. I submitted the op-ed to the New York Times a week before it even went out. I have no control when the New York Times prints their op-eds.
Any financial motivation, Nick? Because I think people are going, well, why would he be doing this?
She's asking anything but the important questions.
What's the deal?
Not only do I not have any financial motivation, I've offered her to waive all financial responsibilities. I'll financially pay to raise this child, put her through college. I mean, I can give these children a wonderful life. I mean, and these girls will be raised knowing that they have a father who fought so hard for them that they'll know they'll be loved so much.
You can understand as a mother, from Sophia's perspective.
I love it. I can't help but laugh.
How did we get to doing this story?
I just see these two embryos going, Daddy, we're so cold. We're so cold. Bring us up to life. Fight for us, Daddy. Fight for us.
The right answer is, I know what the right answer is. You didn't do it, which was, it's Mother's Day.
No, that's not. I'll go to the CNN thing. You'll hear what it's about.
It's
to go through the process again.
This is for the damn movie.
It's not for the movie. This is for political purposes. It's very important because you already asked
groundwork for something that's going to have.
Yes. This is about when does life begin. This is always the big question, the big argument when it comes. And we know Hillary certainly will have to make Republicans look like a-holes over conception, birth control.
Here we go with this guy sympathetic for these two embryos, which are apparently, from his perspective, was when life began. And if something bad happens to him, they blame the Vergara as being a murderer or something. I don't know how this is going to end up.
It's strange you don't see this. When it comes to Planned Parenthood, when it comes to abortion, when it comes to pro-life, pro-choice, the question is always, at what point does this matter? At what point
I know. And they're always trying to move this. Like there's like a point.
I'd say this is a pretty big move all the way to
they're
embryo.
Moving it right to the
yes,
very, very beginning.
And that's exactly
what the pro-lifers promote.
Yes, that's why he calls them girls. That's why he talks as if they're already human beings.
So you think he's a stooge for the pro-life?
Totally.
Okay.
Creating new lives.
This is from CNN.
Why?
Just to get it started, because connecting any issue to Hollywood is fantastic. This is fantastic.
Okay. Well, let me back up a little bit and try to put my brain in the same gear yours seems to be in, which would go like this. You back up, and this is to promote the idea that Hollywood in general are a bunch of douchebags.
Yes. This is exactly right. He's a Republican.
He wants his embryo so he can raise these beautiful girls.
Yes, I want my embryos
to be have a wonderful life. And Sophia is an Hollywood
Democrat a-hole. Yes.
Who won't let him do it. So Hollywood is now associated with a-holes the way we try to do with the gun lovers being associated with Republicans. So we're dealing with deep psychological strategies.
Listen to what the guy says in the CNN interview, then you'll agree with me. Just listen to how he's framing the conversation.
We had to go through the process again of creating new lives. When that happened, 2 more female lives.
Right there. We went through the process again of creating new lives, and then we had 2 female lives. That's what he's saying right here.
We had to go through the process again of
the female out of this, but okay.
Creating new lives. When that happened, 2 more female lives were created again.
Or saved or created, we're not sure.
You use the term creating lives. Not
Come on, man.
everyone
That's a good
believes
callback.
that embryos are lives. Why do you believe that you've already created a life?
Well, I've always believed that life begins at conception. How else would I define what two embryos are that happen to be female? I can't say that these are female property. These are lives, and they're on a journey and a pathway to being born.
Okay.
Here's the journey and a pathway to being born.
Now I see what you're up to.
They're on a journey.
Yeah, the
and a
guy's
pathway.
okay. He's an American businessman, son of Joseph Loeb Jr. Scion.
Happy Mother's Day, Sophia, you heartless bitch. You're not letting them go on their natural path to becoming
Founder of the
full-blown girls.
Rhodes and Lehman family, founder of the Lehman Brothers. Okay, so he's. Let me think. From his financial background, he's a Republican.
I would think that would be correct.
Yes.
Yes.
And so he's playing. Yeah, he's playing this psychological strategy.
Yeah.
To make the Hollywood women, those actresses.
And he's a handsome guy. He's
a very good looking guy.
Well spoken.
But pretty good looking.
And in his op-ed, he says, the second time the surrogate miscarried, I felt crushed. A year later, we tried again, creating 2 more embryos, both female. But as we began to discuss other potential surrogates...
How do you make this female? I don't get that.
But I can only read what the New York Times prints. We're not in control of when they print or what they print. A year later, we tried again, creating 2 more embryos, both female. But as we began to discuss other potential surrogates, it became clear once more that parenthood was much less urgent for her than it was for me. We had been together for over 4 years. As I was coming on 40, I gave her an ultimatum. When she refused, we split up. By the way, you're an asshole. But okay. Then he said, a few months later, I asked her to let me have the embryos, offering to pay all expenses to carry our girls to term and raise them. She wants to keep them frozen indefinitely. Wait, is there a new Frozen movie coming up? That might be a side benefit to these guys.
Could be.
Yeah, could be. Some people are worth being frozen for. So this to me was pretty obvious. Do you want to hear more of the CNN thing? Or are you?
No, I'm done.
You're done with it. I thought so.
I think you made your point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was very good. It was because it was a triple whammy. You get the publicity for the movie. You get the publicity, maybe pre-publicity for some other movie. This guy gets to pound the Hollywood starlets as heartless bitches.
Yeah, who are Democrats, of course.
Yeah, we're all Democrats
of course.
By stereotype.
Yeah,
and the Republicans in Hollywood don't speak up unless they're executives, and they rarely talk. Yeah, because they always claim, "Oh, I'm never going to get work again."
Yeah,
they're always bitching.
Yeah,
and there's probably as many Republicans, just like any place else, as there are Democrats in Hollywood, but they never say anything.
No,
because they'll never get work again.
No. Okay. Anyway, we're going to see more of these things. It was just a new twist. I thought it was interesting how they slipped that one in. See, we don't. I mean, I'm sure you are not following Vagaria news.
No, I'm not.
Exactly. That's my point.
I think she's something of a fake. At least from what I understand of people who are, Mexicans, they say this accent of hers is bogus.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, a couple of people said that. It's exaggerated bullcrap.
Yeah. Let's see. Where do you want to go? But I have all kind of discombobulated little bits and pieces.
We can go with the NSA being rebuked finally.
Yes, yeah. Let's do that. That's good.
Well, here's the intro. You can talk about it. NSA
A federal
rebuke.
appeals court has ruled the National Security Agency's bulk collection of millions of Americans' phone records illegal. The program was exposed by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. The ACLU filed its lawsuit based largely on Snowden's revelations. In a unanimous decision Thursday, a 3-judge panel of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in New York called the bulk phone records collection unprecedented and unwarranted. The ruling comes as Congress faces a June 1st deadline to renew the part of the Patriot Act that authorizes the NSA's bulk data surveillance. Another measure, the USA Freedom Act, would reform some of the NSA's programs.
Yeah, neither one of those. The USA Freedom Act is also not what we want.
No, of course not. That's why you can tell by the name.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's put freedom in the title. They'll think it really gives them some freedom. Yeah, exactly. And again, we have stories of Clapper explaining how he really misunderstood the question. He forgot when he was asked if there was bulk spying, and he said no, not wittingly. But he thought it was about Section 716, and he didn't know that question was going to be asked because, of course, all the questions are always sent over in advance for these little get-togethers on the Hill. So they're bringing that back in.
But even when they do that, they still don't swear them in.
Correct. And there was another. I wonder if I saved that article. Yes, Congress once again has told the court that it cannot be investigated under insider trading. This keeps on cropping up. That even after the president signed the Stock Act into law, lawyers.
Well, didn't the Stock Act just require filing that paperwork that they bury down underneath
in the basement?
Office?
Yeah, where you can only get it if you make a copy.
You have to go. Yeah. Well, no, you
Xerox
can't even
copy.
make a copy.
I thought you could make a Xerox copy.
I thought you had to handwrite it out
in Braille. Yeah. Lawyers for the House of Representatives, in a brief filed last summer, claimed an SEC investigation of congressional insider trading needs to be blocked on principle because lawmakers and their staff are constitutionally protected from such inquiries given the nature of their work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a bonanza.
But the SEC should have known this, and the fact that they are doing this is interesting by itself.
Harassment.
Of course, it's harassment. Yeah, the SEC
specific person.
Yeah, we know that they don't actually do anything real.
If we can figure out who the target of this was, we might be on to something else. That might be fun.
Well, let's see who screams the loudest about it. Right now, it's Boehner, so that would be.
Oh, that's who it is.
Oh, wait a minute, I've got it here. Brian Sutter, then a staffer for the House Ways and Means Committee. Is that one of Boehner's committees?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Allegedly passed along information about an upcoming Medicare decision to a lobbyist who then shared the tip with other firms. Leading hedge funds used the insider tip to trade on health insurance stocks that were affected by the soon-to-be-announced Medicare decision. Yeah. Yeah, and, we can talk about this now. Why don't we talk about it right now?
He got rousted because Brian Sutter... Oh, actually, I bet she got rousted for the cash. Look at this. Brian Sutter joined the Capitol Hill Consulting Group in 2015 as senior vice president.
Okay. There you go. Hey, thanks. That was good work. Why don't you join the company?
Yeah, here's a pile of money.
Your office is ready.
That's why they probably went after him after he quit.
But probably everyone's afraid because they don't want anyone messing around in their little muddy waters there.
No.
So, since we're just touching on healthcare, there was after our conversation about the ICD-10 codes, which is not really relevant at this point, but it's such a huge industry, pharmaceutical and the medical, the keep people sick industry. And there's one topic that we've been wanting to talk about for a bit, but I caught this other news report, and I believe it relates directly back to some of the information we've been receiving via email, a lot from doctors, surgeons, dudes named Ben, everyone involved in how the new medical system works. Apparently, with Medicaid, certainly, there's a move towards the bundled payment. Have you heard about this?
No.
So the idea is that the insurer, whether that is Medicaid or a private insurer, would, and I think it's already happening actually, instead of going through every single code all the time and looking if they're going to reimburse, etc. For
now, this is Medicaid, not Medicare or Obamacare.
I don't have that answer. I think it's Medicaid.
It's a big difference.
I think it's Medicaid.
See, Medicaid is like for people who are broke.
Yes, for people who are broke. Correct. Poor people.
And then they try to get whatever. There's also a scam aspect to where the government tries. If you have property, like say you're an old woman living in a house, and you have to use Medicaid because you got no insurance, and you got no money, and you got a broken hip. Uh-huh. They try to take your house from you at the end of the
of course, yeah. At the end of your life. At the end of your life, they try to take your house away.
Take what we can.
So the concept here is the bundled payment. Instead of we'll approve $50,000 for the cat, or for this, or $12,000 for the CAT scan, etc. They say here is per patient. Here is an X amount of money over the lifetime of that patient or for a year. Or I think it's probably a lifetime. And you, over here, you determine how you're going to dole that out to somebody.
Well, who's the you in this story?
The recipient of the money. So it's the hospital or the doctor, or if you're insured.
If you're insured, you don't get Medicaid.
No. But the insurance companies are going to do the same. But to the facility, okay, a bundled payment example would be someone is going in and they have this particular thing. You need new hips. Here is $150,000 for the person's new hips, no matter how you do it. If you have them stay for a week, if you kick them out after 2 days, if you screw it up, it doesn't matter. Everything is all included. And then you figure out how you're going to do that procedure. Yes, it is actually per these big, it is per the big procedures, but it's part of the bundled payment system. And of course, if you look at the cost of a hip, in some states, in some hospitals, it could be $50,000, whereas in others it could be $150,000. So you're going to see a lot of movement, a lot of things, people having to go to different places, I guess, different states to get the same procedure. But as a part of this, I think we're seeing price changes and new price fixing going on in the market. And there was a report on Bloomberg about the prices of diabetes drugs, which, by the way, is outrageous just if you hear what it costs on an annual basis anyway. But how, and they're not even saying it, I'll just say price fixing, but how the prices within a penny, within a few seconds will change and adjust so that they're all on parity. So there's really, in the United States, that is, there's only one price and a very exorbitant price for these types of drugs. So pretty much now you can do anything you want, is I guess my point. You can do anything you want in the pharmaceutical industry. There's no one looking over your shoulder. No one understands how it works.
And this has changed how?
I think since the Affordable Care Act, I think it is the way insurance companies are now allowed to operate and doing these types of bundled payments, and there's seemingly no oversight. You get stuff like this.
It's very interesting. It's very curious. But we surveyed literally hundreds of big selling drugs to determine what was going on in the prices in the last 5 years, and we found, dozens of them whose prices have doubled in just 5 years at a time when inflation was very low. And one of the most intriguing things we found with some of these competing drug categories, competition seemed to drive the prices up. And in fact, as you said, in diabetes and in insulin market, we saw exact price matches for some of these competing drugs, literally sometimes down to the decimal points the next day. The prices rise in tandem over a period of time. All the price increases are matched.
So is this an antitrust violation?
If the companies are, setting their prices independently, even if they're following each other, the expert we spoke to said, no, it's not, if they're really working independently, but if they decide that's the best business strategy. But as long as it's independent, it may be a sign of a competitively unhealthy market, but that would not be a competitive violation.
But they're not colluding together, right, to do this.
Right, yes. And the interesting thing about the insulin market is there's really only 3 companies in the insulin market. So it's a very small number of companies.
I think the point's been made. This is nothing new.
Well, the only thing that was on there later, yes, it is new. It's increased incredible amount in the past few years.
2 years ago, a year ago, we've been talking about this.
Yeah.
It's not new. This is not new. They've been gouging and they've been jacking up the prices. And when Obamacare came in, it went up higher.
Yeah.
And it's just because they can get away with it because nobody cares. There's no oversight. I don't see what's new.
I'm sorry. Is this show only about new?
Well, no, you're beating a dead horse with this. I think it's not interesting.
Okay,
no offense.
No offense taken.
But it's not interesting.
I think you're wrong.
It's just like, okay, we got a new scam, kind of, but I don't even see that it is. It's just somebody's doling out money. This hasn't really shaken itself out. We don't know that this is a bad thing or good thing. It's just another thing. And then drugs are a ripoff because they're fixed. The prices are fixed, and the government's doing nothing about it. And this if you hook this into Warren, Elizabeth Warren coming in to fix this, which, she would probably complain about it to get votes, I would be more interested in the story, but I don't find this even remotely interesting.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to have bored you.
Well, at least I didn't say, there's another 5 minutes of my life I'll never get back, because it was 10 minutes. But no, that was not your best effort.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe people would disagree.
I don't know. I'm waiting to see what you got, big boy.
Well, you can threaten me all you want, but I do have this. Well, I have to push these off now. I have a question. How come everybody in the world is celebrating VE Day but the United States? I don't know if you noticed this.
We had a proclamation.
What was it?
That today is VE Day. But it's not really our celebration.
Why?
No,
we were the ones that, according to our own litany.
You don't want to go spike the football.
Well, this is not a celebration of spiking the football. Play this clip: WW2 versus or VE Day.
Okay.
Well, international commemorations to mark the anniversary were held in Poland, where the Second World War started. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon joined European leaders at a ceremony in Gdansk.
While remembrance services have also been held in other countries to mark the end of the Second World War.
A moment of reflection in Paris. French President François Hollande lays a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And veterans honor their fallen comrades. In the rest of the city, the mood is more upbeat. Military parades and music commemorate the French resistance against German occupation. May 8th is a day of celebration here. The tone is very different in Poland, Germany's eastern neighbor. In Gdansk, a ceremony took place at the site where the first shots were fired.
Oh, John, it's just so fucking riveting. How can you make me stop?
Here's the point. Why do the Germans, I got this off of Deutsche Welle, the Germans call it the Germany Capitulation Day. And they celebrate.
Well, when you're a loser, lose good.
But why do we not we have a proclamation that the president say, by the way, why is this? Why is everybody all jacked up about the end of the war, the Russians in particular, and the Russians have claimed that they won the war for everybody. And we're just like on the sidelines. It just...
So you have two things going on. Victory Day, Victory of Europe Day, Victory in Europe Day, I should say. And then you have Soviet Victory Day. And maybe that's why we didn't participate. A lot of our Russian handlers emailed all kinds of things about that. Now the Soviets, they signed the German surrender documents on May 8th in Berlin. And the way I understand it, because of the time difference, it was already May 9th in Moscow. That's why they celebrate their Victory Day on the 9th of May as well. But they by definition taking credit for the surrender of the Germans.
Right. They do that. And they have a kind of an argument because they lost so many people that they, and they stopped the Germans from going into Russia. And we were just on the sidelines at least on that front.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems to me to be screwy when you read the Manchester book or any of these things about World War II and the outrageous productivity that we exhibited to get into the war. And then after the war becoming, because of we're the unscathed victors, even though we lost a lot of people, the world's policemen. We don't even acknowledge this, it seems to me, except from some presidential proclamation. I guess somebody showed up to throw a wreath somewhere.
Well, here's one for you. Let me just dig into my bag of conspiracy tricks. As you know, World War II never officially ended, John.
No.
Yes, go ahead. I've read the documents. It's real. World War II never really ended. So for us to go and celebrate Victory in Europe Day and
this is bull
give
crap.
The Russians, but there is something to be said for what's going on right now in Ukraine with U.S. troops and Russian troops, and also the states, the NATO states that are Russia facing, as witnessed by, and this was overtime. See if I can scratch my way back into your favor. This is Kasparov. Of course, big Putin hater, and I think he plays chess. And he's on overtime with Bill Maher, with a bunch of douchebags, with Jane Harman and DGE Squiggly, whatever his name is. It was a horrible show to watch. But then this little thing happened where Kasparov just ripped everybody. I think he ripped out a good one.
We wind up vaporizing them. We vaporize them and their entire community.
So you would agree with what I was just saying. It's because we're there.
No.
If we weren't there, should we be there?
It depends how we're there.
Stop. What is Maher referring to?
He's saying, I'm sorry, I should have set that up better. They have a quick conversation about the U.S. being an empire. He's saying we are an empire. We have troops all over the world, bases all over the world, and Harman, of course.
Is this an accepted fact?
Totally accepted. One little difference, though, about Germany in particular.
Inexpensive. No, we don't have an empire.
What? We don't have an empire?
We don't have an empire.
We're America before
Putin may be built. We're not.
Before
we have troops in like 150 different countries in the world. Are you crazy? We have like 760 bases around the world.
I love how everyone's clapping in the Obama bot audience. Yes, bases. Woo! We got, or are they saying that? So yes, you recognize we're shit heels. What are they clapping for?
I think they're clapping. I think they're clapping
because the producer held up a clap sign.
Well, never mind.
We have 50,000 troops in Germany. I think we got Hitler now.
No, it's by 2013 there was no single American tank.
So this is Kasparov now saying that okay, you got all the troops, but no tanks
in Europe. And by the way, if you're praising Obama's peace record, because of this weak policy now, he had no choice but to bring American soldiers, a small detachment, 100 soldiers at 10 tanks at the Russian border. First time in my living memory. American troops are facing Russian troops in Estonia and Latvia because those small countries are NATO members. And by 2013, there were no American tanks in Europe at all.
Wake me when he takes Poland. Anyway,
I like that. That's pretty funny. Kasparov, he just his head whipped around to look at Bill Maher.
I mean, yes, we.
Right, listen to those a-holes in the audience. Ha 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 ha! Fuck the Poles. Ha 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 ha! That was great.
I mean, yes, we moved 100.
Are you making jokes about this?
Yes, obviously that was a joke.
Poles suffered from. I hope not.
It's a comedy show, Gary. We make jokes about everything. If I have to watch out,
the Holocaust.
It's not about the Holocaust. You made it about the Holocaust.
But for Poles, it's tough.
For Poles, it's tough.
Millions of Poles have been killed by Russians and Germans.
Gary, shut up. This is a stupid thing to say. I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of yours. But to say that I was making a Holocaust joke when I said, wake me when Putin takes...
You said you make jokes about everything.
I thought it was a Holocaust joke. Kind of. Kind of.
Well, I didn't think it was when I heard it the first time, but in hindsight, I could see where that could be a Holocaust joke.
But what Kasparov is saying, which is really not discussed here at all, is we indeed have troops now. I was looking for there's a name for I think is it Operation Atlantic Resolve? I think maybe that's what it's called.
It's maybe.
And this is the what is casually known as the train and supply mission. But this is U.S. troops, several hundred, on the Ukrainian-Russian border.
What about all the troops they sent into Ukraine to do training?
Well, apparently they're all at the border now. I don't know what's going on.
I think they're in. I think they just went in. There's like 100 or 200 or 300.
More. It's 300 or 400.
Yeah,
right. But
new training, and they're in Ukraine.
Yeah, but it's training means you're fighting alongside of them and saying, "Hey, watch me."
No,
Please. Oh, please.
Don't say such things.
Hey, I'll show you how to do it. Follow me. This is how we roll here in America. That's right.
Okay, here it is. This is Defense.gov's website.
Uh-huh.
It's Operation Atlantic Resolve.
Yeah, I knew it was something.
It's demonstrating a continued. It says under the subhead is America's continued commitment to European security. Isn't this NATO's job?
Yeah. Hello? Who's NATO?
Isn't NATO a cooperative of a bunch of these countries?
Oh, John. Yes. But of course, it's all our money. And everybody had to pony up. All these states. You remember President Obama went last year. He said, "Hey, you're not putting in your 2 or 3% of your GDP into military." Hello, remember head of sales Barry calling. Hello. Time to pony up. Yeah, now we're putting it to good use. John McCain is loving it.
You got to see this. You got to go to the site. It's got these recent U.S. military events in Europe with the click pins.
What's it? Oh, I have it. No, I have it right here. This is the defense.gov website. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the click pins. Like if you put your little cursor on
it. That does look kind of cool, doesn't it? Let me give this a chat room.
Air-to-air refueling missions in support of NATO. That's in Great Britain. And you go into, looks like Poland.
Mm-hmm. We have blue. What do we have blue?
One of the clicks is request for military assistance.
Oh. Don't click it. Don't click it.
Oh, this is actually... no, I'm not clicking.
Oh, that's Ukraine. I see it here.
Yeah, that's Ukraine. And it's also got... So they got a request. They got U.S.-Ukraine bilateral defense consultations. That's what's going on.
300,000 meals ready to eat.
Train and equip Ukraine's National Guard.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
But this is real.
Here's one. Exercise Platinum Eagle 14.
Oh, that doesn't beat Jade Helm 15, though, but what is it? I don't see it. I don't see it on this page.
It's in Bulgaria, I believe. That's Bulgaria. And there's a bunch of stuff in the ocean. Oh, the boats are here. USS.
Wow, yeah, they are. The Taylor.
USS Taylor. The USS Donald Cook. Yeah, the truck. I don't even know what that is.
The Truxton.
The Truxton, the Vela Gulf.
So they're all in the Black Sea.
Yeah, sitting there outside of Crimea. This is terrible.
They're surrounded. Hello, Crimea. How you doing over there?
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's what Kasparov is trying to say. He's trying to say, it's been a while. In my lifetime, there's not even been tanks, but now you have Operation Atlantic Resolve, which by itself sounds pretty damn scary. I watched Susan Power for an hour on Charlie Rose trying to get a clip. It's impossible.
Okay, well, you got my respect back.
What, with Atlantic Resolve?
That that you would put yourself through.
I really tried.
An hour with Charlie Rose and Susan Powers.
And the worst part is Charlie has his trademark white button-down shirt on with the cuffs open, and he is sporting a white banded Apple Watch.
No.
Yeah. It's not a good look, Charlie. Yeah. A white band. What is that's got to be product placement, if anything.
I doubt it.
White band.
So I'm watching the Twitch show, and I don't want to plug them because it's not our show, but they were talking about this watch, and all of them, they said, does everyone have one of these watches? And everybody took their right arm, or their left arm, I guess, and held it up with a fist. And it was like a straight up, it looked like a salute.
Heil watch!
Did you see this?
No.
They're all holding a fist up. Oh, yes, we got the watch. Heil Apple.
Heil Apple. Heil Apple.
I thought it was disturbing.
No, I didn't watch. And do you have something to say about me?
Heil Apple.
Heil Apple. Yeah, perfect.
That's what it looks like.
And
so he's got one too.
And in, I believe didn't we just have, I don't know if I have a clip of that. I believe there were two journalists. No, not journalists. Two people who were working for an NGO in Ukraine were arrested on suspicion of being spies. Yes, here we go. Ukraine rebels released 2 U.S. aid workers. And this gets really good. The 2 men are believed to have been working for the International Rescue Committee, NGO, in East Ukraine. Now, do you think you can look at one more with me? Just go to rescue.org. I don't know. Did we ever talk about these guys, or did I completely miss it? Oh, screw me. I pulled the Form 990 on these guys. Oh, man. $450 million they've got in income for 2013 alone. Rescue.org. Mother's Day rescue gifts. But if you look at the board and overseers, tell me that's not the kind of company you want to be looking at. Tim Geithner is in there. Who else do we have? Gordon Smith, David Miliband. Hello,
David Miliband. This is his operation.
His operation, you're right. And then
Ed Miliband's brother.
So I pulled the Form 990. And so these guys have 2 people who were accused of being spies in eastern Ukraine, and they were working for this organization, which is a cash-only organization. They just do cash in, cash out. $456 million in revenue in 2013.
Sounds like a spy operation to me.
Yes. But let me, I marked up this document, so I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on. A lot of money, of course, going to the advertising. They hire Furman Roth Advertising. They got $500,000. Accenture got $600,000. They got a couple of, everyone's like $500,000-$600,000 here or there. Government grants. This is the bulk of their income. Is $305 million. So what's nice about the Form 990 is you, if someone donates about $5,000 as a single entity, you have to report it. But first, let's look.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Is this the same Liv Ullmann? That's the actress. She's the vice chair international. It was just a coincidence.
I don't know who Liv Ullmann is.
Liv Ullmann, the actress?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know Liv Tyler.
Well, she's a Norwegian actress and film director.
Okay.
She's one of the muses of Ingmar.
Oh, maybe you're thinking Tracy Ullman?
Well, that's probably what I'm thinking. Yeah. But Liv Ullmann's the name, and she is an actress.
Well, by coincidence, then.
And a famous one.
Well, you got to. I mean, look
okay, go on. I'm sorry.
You're looking at the board of directors also. So you look at Goldman Sachs Healthcare Group, Evercore Partners, let's see, there's Miliband, Morgan Stanley. So it's all banks. And advertising, BBDO Worldwide. Who else is on here? Anyway, for this non-governmental organization, quite a lineup. Let's see. Well, David Miliband takes no money. I guess he can't. But George Rupp, the CEO and president, 400.
Why? Is he still in public office? And maybe he is.
Well, this was 2013, so maybe he couldn't do it then. But the CEO gets $430 million, the CFO $1,000,000, the CFO $300,000. Everyone's making out like bandits. And of course, I'm expecting to see the USAID at the top of the list of donors. No. They are number 4. $36 million went to this outfit in 2013 from USAID, but the Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance, which I'd never heard of, $39 million. The Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration, $59 million. And then the number 1 donor was the Department for International Development. This is the British version of the USAID, DFID, and they came in with $62 million. Yeah, I'm sure those guys were, and they
were spot. They were obviously.
It's funny because there must be 50 pages of payments, and it just says cash assistance, and it says who, and of course where most of the money is going to. Only $18 million really went into Europe, and then they have a couple errant millions for Russia and the newly independent states. Nothing for Russia actually, $252,000. Eat that, Putin. But then the real money, $170 million, Sub-Sahara Africa, South Asia. $75 million.
Surprised Clooney's not on the list.
Yeah,
listen to some of these people on here. Now, see, this is more like it. That other organization you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Mike's
didn't have any heavy hitters.
No.
It's nothing like this. Yeah. This is like ridiculous. We have the guy, the chairman of Penguin Group, and executive director of Pearson. The Common Core people company are on here. Yeah. Kofi Annan is on here. Our friend Madeleine Albright is on this list.
Eat
These
bugs,
are the
people. Eat bugs.
William Bennett. I mean, you got Madeleine. This is always the thing that bothers them. You got William Bennett, the big Republican, who is also a gambling addict, I guess. Phony. And then Madeleine Albright in the same group with Kofi Annan in the drinking club called the Overseers. It's just like unbelievable. I wonder how much money they get.
Those guys for being on the board?
Well, this is not the board. This is the Overseers.
They may not get anything. It's not reported. Let's put it that way.
They've got to get some. Michael Blumenthal. He's not going to. And his wife, Betsy.
If this is the big club, man, then,
Tom Brokaw. I could go on.
It's a good list, isn't it?
It's a great list.
None of them have. I'm looking at the directors, trustees. None of them. Let me see. I don't know if it's the same list. No, none. Unless it's going, unless someone's billing some other way. I don't know about that, but
I think the Liv Ullmann connection. I think it is the actress because she does a lot of work for the UN. This is some scam going on here.
So anyway,
Andy Grove, the
Intel.
Yeah. It's a big list.
So I'm thinking these guys probably were spies.
As mentioned earlier, Henry Kissinger.
There you go. Once you have Henry on board, this is a very good organization. It's very good. Ukrainian is very important. Yeah.
Well, yeah, spies.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for continuity, Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning, all ships and sea boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning, everybody in the chat room, noagendastream.com. Good to see you all participating. Yes, blitzed spies like us. In the morning to 20-watt bulb. Brought us the artwork for episode 719. Loved the state of Texas with the hidden guns in the artwork. You remember that one?
Yes, 20-watt bulb is good.
Yeah. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com.
By the way, we don't like to use stolen art. I mean, it's been done, but it has to be very derived. And we always check. So people think there is a image search capability that you can use to look up images, and we use it to make sure, because it's like, well, this looks, and with 20-watt bulb, although he's a professional,
we almost always say, it's not stolen.
We don't worry about it so much.
But we check this one. We actually check.
We check, and it's like because sometimes it's just like so slick, or somebody has to have done this before. The best example, and I don't know if I remember, it was 20-watt bulb. I'd have to look it up. But the guy who did the skull that was in the shape of Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Was like, this can't, no.
We couldn't find it.
Looked, and no, this was original art just for our show.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm surprised, but I was stunned that nobody else had done it. Anyway, sorry.
And NoAgendaArtGenerator.com is where you can find all submissions. Of course, we only really choose one each time, each episode. But you can do a lot with lots of people, print them out, frame them. It's beautiful. It's good to look at.
Yeah.
It's inspiring.
You get a pretty good sized image. You can make like a 6x6 or something.
A quilt. You could make a quilt.
Make a quilt. Yeah, that's true.
A quilt. The way the program works is you support the program. Multiple ways to do that. Certainly financially, so we can speak freely on any topic we want, anything, anyway, anyhow. And people who come in and support the program the most at the beginning, just like Hollywood, we give you the executive producer credits and associate executive producer credits. And a lot of people came in on the associate exec, I think. Oh, actually, no.
3 and 3.
Yeah, 3 and 3. But overall.
But then after that, we got nothing. I'll tell you right now, after we got to the 50, from above 50 and below 200, we had a grand total of 15 people out of a mailing that went to 14,000. And many of them said, oh, what a funny newsletter. And, of course, 15 people cared enough about it to donate.
Well,
Thank you very much.
So
I'm not, this is why, you do something creative, and this is what the results is.
Exactly. This is what you get for it.
Yeah, this is the thank you. But we do have some people who seriously thank. Yes. Sir Frank Eisenstadt in Victoria, Australia, came with $400.79. Hello, John and Adam. Definitely time for another meaningful financial contribution. Seeing it's also my birthday today, 7th of May, seemed like the right time to donate. In addition to my 1111 regular monthly contribution, I decided to donate my birth date of 7 May 62, being 75, 62 times the number of decades of birthdays so far, being 5.353 years old. Somehow that works out to $400.79. I don't know how.
Perfect. I'm good.
Just some great karma from you both would be good, as well as a Hillary what difference does it make, which is a bit like birthdays these days. And a boom shakalaka to finish. With the Australian federal budget happening next week, I'd rather you get my money because there's definite value rather than the government getting the money. Thank you, or keep up the great work. Kind regards, Sir Frank, Baron of Stonington, Armdale, Australia.
Yay.
What difference at this point does it make?
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
Karma.
There you go.
Kristen Kitterman in Walnut Creek, California, 33333. And that's just up the street from me. Hi, John and Adam. Please find a donation for my husband, Chris Kitterman. His birthday is Sunday, May 10th. Is he on the list?
I'll take a look.
Can you put him on your B-Day list? The donation will is Eisenstadt on the list?
I'm looking.
Yeah, he's in yellow. He has to be.
Eisenstadt's on the list, yeah, and Chris, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not Chris. It should be Chris.
It's Chris.
Yeah, Chris with a C.
Yeah.
We recently purchased our retirement home in Carmel. Although we are a long way off from retiring, it makes us very happy. Can you please make him Knight Chris of Carmel by the Sea? I guess his numbers came in.
Okay.
Thanks for all you do. Kristen Accounting, something made by me for his birthday, 3, 2, and a bunch of numbers. Job karma worked, by the way, and now this one's to make Knight status. She doesn't ask for karma, but give her some.
Yeah, I'll do the jobs karma just to, can never hurt.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Gene Natuliev, Sir Gene Natuliev, the Texas sheriff.
That's right, Baron of Texas, Baron the Texas of Sheriff of Marriott. He's important.
333, Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Calling, I don't know who this is. Piotr. Oh, okay, so it's Peter.
Yes.
As a douchebag spelled with an S.
Yeah, well.
Douchebag. And wishing his wife, Oksana, a very happy birthday. She gets younger every year. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
These are the handlers, John. I told you about them.
Yeah, Oksana, she's the good-looking one?
Yeah. Well, Peter's good-looking, too, but not as interesting as Oksana.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Russians in Texas. I just find that fascinating.
I'm going to give her a little karma.
You've got karma.
Moving on to associate executive producers, Sir Brian Ferguson of Foothill Ranch, California, $250. When I saw the newsletter, I was appalled. Driving home Friday, I heard an interview with a cricket rancher on KFI radio. That was all I needed to hear on the subject. I did an accounting, and this donation takes me one level past Baron, whatever that's called. Give me a Reverend Manning and something Sharpton.
Oh, something Parma. Sharpton.
Give them much.
Oh, resist?
Yeah, much resist.
Okay. There's a new jingle I want to play. Do we have a douchebag check on this show?
Douchebag check?
Yeah, no one's doing douchebag checks. I'll do a douchebag.
No, it didn't catch on.
Douchebag check. No, douchebag check.
That's crazy.
Get out there. Whooping the Constitution.
But resist, we must, and we will much about that be committed.
You've got karma.
Sorry.
Love the Rev.
That is just too good.
Love the Rev.
It's too delicious to be true.
Love the Rev.
Tiny Progs in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, $250. And he writes, flying from, or Tiny, I'm assuming this guy, flying from Gate 33 on an A330. Too many 33s for me not to send money. You better give him some karma.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a little of this, too.
33, that's a magic number.
You've got karma.
Hell yeah, careful.
And then we have Sir David Roberts from Norristown, Pennsylvania, 23456, one of my favorite numbers. And he just says, Night of the Yellow Rose. Why does my pee smell funny?
It's the asparagus.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You beat me to it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Asparagus,
I'm
yes.
still laughing about Night of the Yellow Rose. Yeah, we've all spent the night at the Yellow Rose. Here's some karma for you. Well deserved.
You've got karma.
Did he get the night of the Yellow Rose? When
Yes. Of course.
Huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why does his pee smell funny? But anyway, that concludes our little donation. Executive producer, associate executive producer segment of the show. I want to thank these folks and remind you that we do have a show coming up on Thursday. And that'll be Dvorak.org/NA to kind of help us get going.
Dvorak.org/NA. And of course, in those days, it doesn't take that long to send PayPal. Propagate the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Hey, citizen.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
All right. I'm just looking. There's something in here that was in the list of reads that just wanted me to go look something up.
While you're doing that,
I don't know what it is. That's the problem. I lost track.
Oh, that's okay.
Didn't write it down.
Let's. I'm worried to do anything now. I'm so worried I'm going to bore you. I don't know what to do.
Get off it.
A day where I don't make you laugh is just not a good show.
Here's State Department in Clinton. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did. About them not doing something or anything.
Yeah, this then it's boring. But
yes.
You get a little idea of what's going on. And it's no good without the women. They got this douchebag character.
Yeah, and Matt does not have any kind of rapport with him.
No, none at all. In fact, he seems a little cowed by the guy.
Yeah. To be clear, coming back to something that has come up earlier this week, we aren't aware of any actions taken by Secretary Clinton that were influenced by donations to the Clinton Foundation or its offshoots, or by speech honoraria and consultancies of former President Clinton.
Okay, but why not? I mean, why do you not?
Again, we aren't aware of any actions taken.
I know you're not aware because you haven't looked into them, right?
Well, but again, let's go back to what we did do during her tenure. Over the course of her tenure, we reviewed dozens of entities each year. The Clinton Foundation also is a charitable organization, so we would not have had the obligation to review their donation beyond what was committed to in the MOU.
Right. But what they committed to in the MOU in terms of the listing the private donors, whether or not the State Department had to review them or was supposed to review them beforehand to see if they were okay or not, it would seem to me to make sense that if they didn't live up to their end of the MOU, you would at least go back and take a look at the private donations and see whether that might raise any questions.
Goes on back and forth. It's almost like a circle. He'd say, "Oh, we didn't do that," and "Well, you didn't do that because you didn't want to do that." And it went back. This went on for about 10, 15 minutes. These two guys, and it got nowhere, of course. And Matt couldn't keep asking the same questions over again.
No, and the only real takeaway I got and this whole exchange was maybe 10 minutes. He just kept on going and going. There is another,
and by the way, also. The guy pulled it from Matt at some point and went to another guy who continued asking the same questions.
Exactly.
And Matt came back into it. That's how it went on for, you're right, at least 10 minutes, maybe more.
Right.
They're protecting Hillary.
Well, the new entity that is not being discussed is the Clinton Health Alliance Initiative, this CHAI, CHAI. And this is a black box. It's a sister or daughter organization, but there's no filings on it. No, you can't. It's all neatly wrapped up in this little ball. They got the Canadian thing. They got the Clinton Health Alliance Initiative. You can only imagine what kind of money's flowing into that, but there's no record of it. But at this point, really,
what difference does it make?
Nothing. No one hears this. No one gives a shit. We've been saying this is the problem for years. Well, in 2008, we were in the first time she ran, we said this is the real problem. No one cares.
Yeah, it's a conduit for bribes.
Yeah.
And it's a beauty.
Yeah, it really is quite good.
Oh, no, it's a charitable organization. This reminds me of the way the Yakuza work.
In Japan.
Now, the Yakuza, the Japanese mob, they have a little gambit that they play. They were trying to do in the United States. They tried to buy the Pebble Beach golf course, but the locals got irked about this. And the first thing they were going to do is what they do is they change the course fees to something outrageous, and you had to be a member. It costs $10,000. So the idea is you buy a golf course. They do this in Japan. You buy a golf course. You have outrageous, like, $10,000 a year is minimum. Sometimes it's $100,000, or it could be anything. It's ridiculous. And the idea is, if you're being extorted by the Yakuza, the way you pay your bill to them is not by giving them money. You have to take a membership out in one of these golf places that they own
for $1 million a year.
Yeah. And they were trying to pull that. They're trying to bring that idea here to the United States by buying Pebble Beach, and they already talk about raising the fees. It was only just to extort money. And there's no reason to believe that the Clintons haven't stumbled onto something very similar with this screwball operation they have.
Sure.
Seems like a good way to extort. Oh, if you give some money to our charity, there's no reason for the Saudis. They get their own charities. Why are they giving him money?
Yeah, but at the end of the year, John, at the end of my life, no one cares. Just absolutely nobody cares. Everybody's already all fine, all in, all okay with it being Hillary. Well, she's not the best, but she's the one we need. She deserves it. She deserves it. That's right. She deserves it. Well, I pray still every single night. Yes. Let's take a look at.
I got it. The breaking news.
Oh, what kind of news? Real news?
No.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news.
Play the clip. Threat levels up.
Yeah.
The threat level has been raised at U.S. military bases nationwide. That puts security at its highest level in nearly 4 years. Pentagon officials say there's been no specific threat. Instead, they cite general concerns since last weekend's attack on an exhibit and contest of Mohammed cartoons in Texas.
Okay. All right.
Texans.
All right.
Cause the threat levels to go up.
I thought we didn't do those anymore, the threat levels. I thought that was done. Well, let's talk about this for a moment. I caught another fine piece on MSNBC. And by the way, I'm the only person catching it because no one else really watches it. But still, it's important because this is how memes get started, which we'll get to in a moment. They have a terrorism expert. And remember now, we're looking, and I have some more information on this. We're looking at how freedom of speech possibly or probably will be curtailed in these United States of Gitmo Nation, where we still have some of it. Forget you guys in EU. If you're interested, I'll tell you. By saying holding a cartoon contest is provocation and therefore is not protected free speech. And I think somewhere I have the example of yelling fire in a crowded theater. That never happened. There's no example of that happening. It was only used as an example we'll play this clip and then I'll look for this, look for the fire in a crowded theater thing. But this is the defense that's going towards, and you'll hear this terrorism expert, I don't know what his name is, comparing these people to some very evil beings.
This is not the first time that someone, a homegrown extremist, has looked to target someone like Geller for exactly this reason. And I would say to Geller, look, you have the right to do this, but you also have a responsibility. Freedom of speech is a very serious right, and it comes with a responsibility. You have a responsibility to act in a way that is restrained according to fact. And simply yelling at someone and saying terribly nasty things at someone, look, and then to complain about the fact that someone reacts violently to that. To me, that's like lighting the Reichstag on fire and then complaining that your fingers got singed. You cannot infringe upon someone else.
I'm sorry?
No, it's not. There's no that analogous that analogy he did is bullcrap.
Yeah. Yes, it gets worse.
Upon someone else's freedom of expression. You cannot infringe upon someone else's freedom of speech and then claim that it's you who is the victim. It does not work that way.
Wait a minute. He's very interesting what he's
maniac.
saying. Yeah, he's Coleman, Kohlmann. He's saying that drawing a cartoon is infringing on someone else's free speech. I don't see how that works.
I don't see how that works.
And turning it into Kristallnacht for the Reichstag is very interesting.
You cannot infringe upon someone else's freedom of speech and then claim that it's you who is the victim. It does not work that way. No one has the right to commit acts of violence in the name of faith. No one has the right to commit acts of violence because someone says something offensive. But people that exercise the freedom of speech also have a responsibility to understand that words have meaning and that they can cause harm. And that's why we have...
Hold on. No.
Sticks and stones may break my bones.
Yeah. But words can cause harm. I find this very interesting that Whoever the host is just agreeing. Yeah, that's right.
I hate these hosts.
Oh, this is fantastic.
And that's why we have libel laws. That's why we have defamation laws. And that's why we have hate crime laws.
Oh.
And I would suggest that what Pamela Geller is doing comes in some cases quite close to what is normally defined as a hate crime.
Wow.
Hold on a second.
Wow.
Yeah. How does he make this leap of faith? You got libel laws and you have hate crime laws. Let's assume that these are fine, even though we have our doubts. What's that got to do with having an exhibition of cartoons?
It's a hate crime. That's what he's saying. He says it comes very near to a hate crime.
How is that?
I don't know. He's the expert. I don't know. But it's getting closer to, the last time we looked at something from 1942, the shouting fire in a crowded theater. This is where they're driving towards. They're trying to position the First Amendment, which I would like to remind everybody, the First Amendment does not give anybody any rights. You already have the right to free speech. The First Amendment forbids the federal government, or the U.S. government, from infringing upon that right. That's pretty much what the Bill of Rights is. So don't get trapped into this. Well, you have this right because of the First Amendment. No. But if you go back even earlier,
for some reason we have to continually remind everybody of this because the media won't do it.
So this, and there was a court decision, and I believe this was 1919. This is Wendell Jones versus, was it 1919? Schenck versus United States. Here we go. This was a Supreme Court case, and out of this case came the phrase "shouting fire in a crowded theater." So that never actually happened, but this is one of the examples where free speech, apparently, according to the Supreme Court, was not protected. He oversaw, printed, and mailed more than 15,000 leaflets to men slated for conscription during World War I. The leaflets urged men not to submit to the draft, saying, "Do not submit to intimidation. Assert your rights. If you do not assert and support your rights, you are helping to deny or disparage rights, which is the solemn duty of all citizens and the residents of the United States to retain." And he urged them not to comply with the draft. Now, he was convicted based on, I think it was a part of the Espionage Act, and they fought this on First Amendment right. But he lost. It was apparently, if you create a clear and present danger, which is another one of those terms, like, okay, now that has something to do with it, then indeed, the most stringent protection of free speech would not protect, this is the Supreme Court, would not protect a man in falsely shouting fire in a theater and causing a panic. The question in every case is whether the words used are used in such circumstances and are of such a nature as to create a clear and present danger that they will bring about the substantive evils that Congress has a right to prevent.
So you got this reference from something you read?
What reference?
The one you just gave us. The one
that is the opinion of the court. This is the Supreme
I know,
Court
but
wrote that.
You didn't dig it up by digging through old documents.
What do you think? What do you think I do on Saturday nights?
No, I'm just
first I go to the ballet, then I get my parchments.
I'll ask you if you want me to, because it sounds to me as though this is something somebody's trying to promote, or is this did this just come out of your base? I want to know, because I want to know whether this is something we have to be on the lookout for.
Yes.
Is this something you dug up?
Well, this is something that goes back to the previous episode where they're saying that this type of free speech is not permitted under the First Amendment, and they're moving it towards.
Is anybody citing this particular case besides you?
Not this particular one, no.
Oh, okay. No. Well, that's interesting. Well, they will now.
Well, it's going. If he says, listen to what he's talking about, how this is not protected. The guy's obviously not a lawyer. But it borders on hate speech, hate crimes, all things which are really very, very fuzzy. A crime is a crime, whether it's done out of hatred or not. But okay, I think what we'll see happen is if you commit a hate crime, and a hate crime probably would then result in a clear and present danger to the citizens of the United States, then it is not protected under the First Amendment. I think that's where this is going. How? I mean, what are he doesn't even give any basis for his claim, but I got to presume this guy is just some shill dickhead who's saying whatever he's meant to say.
Well, I'm still trying to get my head around the idea that having an art exhibition is any sort of hate crime.
Well, as little
but
as
if a guy comes and starts gunning down people, I mean, it seems that the hate crime is committed by the offender, the guy with the gun, not with
sure.
passive.
Congratulations. That's
but
what
they're using,
everyone's doing.
And again, is a hate. Can they make? I think we're trying to get to here. Can they make the
crime of
they're showing the art a provocation? Can they make anything that results in violence by some maniac? Can they make that the actual that act provocation? And if that's the case, then it's that person's fault. And so the other person acted out of because they were provoked, and that lessened the crime that they committed. If they tried to, I mean, it's a good thing they shot these guys. They'd probably be making a federal case out of the whole thing. Well, this is not good, any of it.
No. But you remember the CNN douchebag who's on in the morning with Michaela. He was tweeting out saying, it's not protected by the First Amendment. You should read the Constitution, understand what it says. And so these are the only two cases that pop up whenever you try to look into when can some form of action, and this is why the shouting fire in a crowded theater comes up, which did not actually happen, but was mentioned in the court's opinion about this guy who, and I think it's innocuous. Innocuous? No. What's the word? Innocuous. I don't know.
Innocuous.
Sounds good. Innocuous. It's innocuous.
Innocuous, I believe, is something you put over your eyes and you can see virtual reality.
Innocuous rift. They're trying to turn this type of act into a hate crime. And I guess this guy's spreading 15,000 leaflets because men wouldn't sign up. Then it would be dangerous to the country. Therefore, it's a clear and present danger. It comes down to clear and present danger.
How does the art exhibit? Mm-hmm. And I would be asking this question to this douchebag that was on MSNBC that you played earlier. How does this art exhibit as provocation any different than the recently protected flag burning? That seems like more of a provocation than anything.
Well,
you're burning the flag, which is going to annoy somebody, and they're going to come after you.
Well, for the same reason that...
How is that free speech?
For the same reason that Life of Brian was okay, for the same reason that Book of Mormon is okay, because these religions don't jump up and down and start shooting people. And, of course, that these other people do. So you should know better, I guess is what it is. It's completely backwards. By the way, Norway has ended their blasphemy laws. They had blasphemy laws.
They had them?
They had them, yeah. Yeah. And now they've scrapped that. Said, no, you can do whatever you want.
There should be no blasphemy laws in a modern society.
A lot of Europe has a lot of these things on the books. I think that's, you probably couldn't do any of this now in many European states. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is let's keep our eye on it. And remember, I have a pretty, I have a feeling about this whole event being set up to prove a point. Now, you can say it proves a point that crazies come out of the woodworks, or you can say, here you go, this is what we're now going to prove. You cannot do this. It is not protected under free speech. Just like douchebag O'Donnell, Lawrence O'Donnell, he had a great segment on. Listen to. All right, now.
I'm going to tell you something. I think you're spending way too much time because you scolded me for this some time back. You get addicted to watching MSNBC because your jaw drops constantly.
Yeah, that's true.
And you got an idiot like Sharpton, who's one of their top guys.
I wasn't going to play Sharpton.
No, but I'm saying, just to show you the kind of audience that MSNBC has, Sharpton is like the second most watched guy on there.
Yeah, and the first most watched guy is Rachel Maddow.
Right. She's the first most.
In the morning. Come on, give that one to me.
It wasn't that good, but it was okay.
Here's Lawrence O'Donnell explaining why the word thug is a racist word.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this is fun.
What would be the first word of choice for a virulent racist to use on your show about those people and know for certain that he
about those people?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that great?
About those people?
Yeah, I know.
What a racist pig he is.
Uh-huh.
To use use on your show about those people and know for certain that he or she could get away with using that word, it would be thug. You know it would be thug.
What kind of mind control is this guy trying to pull? This is why I had to clip this, John. I'm just sitting there. He's going, you know that word would be thug.
Listening to MSNBC is like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yes, that's right. You know it would be the word thug.
I just can't watch these guys that much. Even Rachel, I can't stand that smug up talk that she does.
And African Americans know it would be thug. So now you have to ask yourself, before you make your comments on national television, how many millions of African Americans, how many millions of African American kids are you willing to allow to suspect that you might be racist?
See, this is a reverse psychology. Now my head's spinning. So if I want to make sure African American kids, better known as the kids of those people, Lawrence, but I don't want them to think I'm racist, which is, if you are afraid of people thinking you're racist right there. Okay, that may be too deep for Larry. So you don't want to use any word that could make people think you're a racist.
How many? And here's what's so very nutty about this whole thing. You don't need to use that word that creates that suspicion, the word that so many people on television seem so eager to use.
You want to hear him say the...
this is of sickness. I'm going to give a story. PC World used to have a bunch of these types of people. Very politically correct, liberals, I think mostly lesbians. And so the guy ran into an engineer at Boeing who used to do some writing for him. And we were talking about some of the screwiness that's going on in the publishing business with some of these a-holes. And he told me the story about how he had submitted some copy talking about some company, this and that. And he said, and then the company representative did this and that. And the copy came back because they were checking it with people, and they changed the word representative to spokesperson. And he said, why did you change the word representative to spokesperson? And the woman said, we don't use sexist language at PC World. And he said, and then logically said, what's wrong with the word representative? It's gender neutral. She says, the word spokesperson makes it clear to the reader that we don't use sexist language. Representative does not do that. That's the kind of screwiness that is permeating, and that's what you just listened to. That is the stupid kind of addled thinking that goes on in everywhere, all throughout the media.
Yes. No, I think it's more than that. I think there's many people who...
You think there's also insanity involved or something?
I would be shocked, but yes, I think, of course there's insanity involved. It's crazy. And is this one of those, it depends on the context things where you can say thug in different variations, or can you just not use the word at all? The way it's
going, I see that no possible use of the word thug without being called out. And I would suspect that if you wrote it in today's one of these newspapers today, and you just casually use it as the word thug, I would almost guarantee as of today that the editor would kick it back.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. But in that context,
money on that.
If it was in the context of Baltimore and use the word thug. But if you just use the word thug in general for some other group of people who are beating somebody,
any purpose whatsoever,
really, let's listen to a little compilation of Mr. O'Donnell's work, considering the usage of the word thug.
And no one was more shocked at being a loser than poor Scott Brown, who ran a Senate campaign that was worthy of the thugs in my Boston neighborhood a generation ago. In Christie World in January, that got him fired. But this thug email from Sampson saying he's playing in traffic made a big mistake. I don't think O'Reilly wants to stop and frisk them. How many times does O'Reilly have to see Mark Zuckerberg in a hoodie to realize that the hoodie has become a completely culturally, economically neutral article of clothing that tells you virtually nothing about the wearer, except possibly where the wearer went to school? But any thug can get his hands on a hoodie with any school name on it.
I guess he didn't get the memo.
Okay, where'd you get that?
We have producers.
Well, did you add the little?
I added the little sting to it.
Yeah, you
put
a little. You produced it. I'll give you a clip of the day.
I won't take it. No, it has to balance out with my huge.
Okay, well then you're back to neutral.
My huge canard.
Another one like that, you'll get it.
Okay, wait. You challenge me? All right, you ready? You've challenged me now.
Yeah.
This is Senator now, Cory Booker. Cory Booker is now senator. And man, Cory is a big tweeter. He's a real big tweeter. He's tweeting all day. And, some say he became a senator partially because of his tweeterness and his social media expertise. So they're up there on the Hill talking about stuff. And what do you think? He's like, hold on a second. We suck at social media.
On this, there are easy tactics. I know them, as you said, from politics, how to get more voice and virality to messaging that we're not using as a government to get counter messages out there. You have, I know something about memes, the data that you're presenting about Muslims killing Muslims, and this is a group that's killing more Muslims, to get memes to go more viral.
Look at it. Just to review. We're sucking, but we need to fight ISIS. We need more memes to go viral. That way we'll stop ISIS.
They're fancy memes compared to what we're not doing.
There's an obvious piece of legislation that we need to start working on. I've already directed the staff, but let's face it, we invented the internet. We invented these social network sites. We've got Hollywood. We've got the capabilities, as Mr. Sheikh was saying, to blow these guys out of the water from a standpoint of communication. So we need to work on that. We need to work on that quickly. So I hope you'll engage in that effort.
Social. Let's get social. Let's get social. Let's get social. Let's get social media. Let's get social.
Give it up, Mary McCoy.
Woo! Cory Booker.
Wow. This is like the assholes who go into a company and say, you're hiring somebody. So, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make some viral videos for us. Get a couple million hits.
Do you have any idea if I had a company that could screw it? We should just register an LLC and go for it. Yeah, we know how to make viral videos for you. We'll get right on that. And of course, the sad part about it is all this ISIS. We're already doing it. That's Hillary Clinton's State Department experts. They're so good at it already.
Every couple of weeks, I do a clip from NCIS, which is about this.
Those guys know how to do it. We got Hollywood. How come we're not doing this? Cory Booker.
We are doing it mostly to propagandize the public, the United States public. We're doing it.
Yes.
And we're probably doing it over there, too. Or we got these little flyers, which I've never scanned in, which I still have sitting here that, they were thrown out the back of an airplane that say something. I don't know what. Because I'm lax.
We're
doing it. That's all we do.
Yeah. We need more memes, better memes to go viral.
Well, we do need better memes.
Your senator from the great state of New Jersey, Cory Booker.
I thought Booker was from Massachusetts.
No, is he from? No, he's got to be from New Jersey. He was in Newark.
What am I thinking then? Who am I thinking of?
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
Yeah, he's been known as the mayor of Newark. I'm thinking about somebody else. Huh.
No, he's a big Twitter guy. He saved Newark with Twitter.
Oh, I remember this guy now. Yeah. He's a Twitter guy.
He's a Twitter guy. He's the senator from the land of Twitterdom. Twitterland.
We need better memes.
More memes.
More memes. We do have, we need more donors.
Yeah, we do.
We had 15, and here they are. Anonymous, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I think it might, no, maybe. Anonymous, thanks for providing TBPCITU, the best podcast in the universe. Karma for upcoming surgery. We'll give you some karma at the end. For surgery, not good. Sir Nicholas Principe in Raleigh, North Carolina, 12345.
And he will become a baronet today. Sir
Yes,
Nicholas
he will be a baronet today.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Marchi in, it could be Markey, but it's Marchi in San Jose, California. And he won 122. John Knowles in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 111.11. Oliver Reich in San Francisco, 69.69, along with Kathleen Leander in Earls Cove, BC, over by Spuzzum, 69.69. We have a birthday call out for her. She says she loves the show because it makes our commutes manageable. Sir Kevin Dills in Charlotte, North Carolina, another birthday. His birthday's coming up, I guess, Tuesday, May 12th. Be turning 29.
Mm-hmm.
Job karma coming at the end. Dame Astrid, the Duchess of Japan.
What does she say here?
She's been sending a couple of notes. She's been doing some stuff. She liked the newsletter that had the ant play, which we should probably perform. We could do that.
Yeah, maybe today's not the day.
Okay, we'll do it when you're more in the mood.
I mean, I got knocked off my perch.
You're going to just harp on this. It's unbelievable because you have to, well, you know I was right. Happy Mother's Day to all the cool moms.
I know, but instead of, I just said, yeah, okay, and then you kept on going.
No, because you had that tone in your voice. Happy Mother's Day.
Don't take that tone with me, young man.
Exactly. The cool moms out there who have a healthy giggle at directional energy weapon in my pants jokes.
I thought that was a clip, but I guess it's something we said.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Jason Lewis in Macon, Georgia, who got a birthday call out, $55. Phil Colburn in New South Wales, Australia, 51.11. Kevin Nunez in East Brunswick, New Jersey, 50, and these are all $50 donors. A few of them there are.
All four.
Antonio McMullen from Parts Unknown. Paul Vella in Milton Keynes, UK. Jan van der Laan in Assen, 50. And finally, Sir Brian Watson in Raleigh, North Carolina, 50. And that will be it for today's show, 7:20.
Yeah, I think I'm just disappointed. I don't know what it is. Just the donations 2 weeks in a row. I'm just disappointed, I guess. And then
it's a disappointing 2 weeks.
And then I feel like
nobody bought into the Mother's Day thing.
Well, I'm worried about something else. I'm worried about that I'm boring, and people are getting bored. You may not be calling me out enough.
No, but it's possible. People will send you letters to tell you that you're wonderful. But
I'm not looking for that. And this would be a time
you're looking for donations.
Yeah, that's true. But it'd also be time to, please, people, if you have just a link, just tweet it to me, please. My email is out of control again. Is another thing. I finally had to tell that. I finally had to tell the Russian. Did you see?
Just tweet him.
Did you see the Russian handler who emails us all the time?
What did he do this time?
He'll email like, link to a YouTube video. USA sucks. Link to an image that shows how many bombs America has dropped. I said,
he's
dude,
got to be more explanatory than this.
I said, stop. Look, I get it. America sucks. Russia the best. Whatever. Email us something good.
Russia's great.
Yeah.
Why are you living in Brooklyn?
Stop. Is that where he lives? The guy from Brooklyn. And we have that Ukrainian guy who lives in Canada. You don't know what's going on. Okay.
Why are you living in Toronto?
Oh, man. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I'll just get a little demure from time to time. I do want to thank everybody who came in on our monthlies. Those are extremely important, certainly on days like this. So if you came in, we only had we're down to 4 33s, 12 12s, 11 11s, and then we go to 5s and 4s and 3s and 2s. Thank you very much. For those of you who sent in your support.
On here.
Sometimes I catch a 2.
Oh, yeah, sometimes, but not today.
Not today. We don't even have a $2 donation on today's list. That's how it got. Well, and if I'm just too boring, let me know.
If Adam's too boring, let him know.
Yes. In the meantime, please remember us at
Dvorak.org/NA.
We got a good list. birthdays today. Sir Frank Eisenstadt, 52 on May 7th. Kristen Kitterman says happy birthday to her husband, Chris Kitterman, celebrating on the 10th. That would be today. Sir Gene Naftuliev, happy birthday to Pyotr's wife, Oksana. Kathleen Leander says happy birthday to her husband, Rory Leander, turning 31. Sir Kevin Dills turns 29 on May 12th. And Jason Lewis says happy birthday to Tina Helms. We say the same to everybody from the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
We congratulate Sir Nicholas Principe with his baronetdom today. So he's on his way to becoming full-blown baron, and then he can get his protectorate. That was a question asked me. Someone asked me the other day, what do you get? Well, you get a protectorate.
And we have to say that Sir Brian Ferguson is at 4K, and he's a 1K short of Viscount.
Okay. Was that a question he had?
Yeah.
Okay. That's back office stuff.
Which Eric answered.
Okay. Here's my blade. We're only going to have Chris Kitterman come up, so if you could... might as well get the long one, though. Tall dude. There you go. Come on, Chris Kitterman. Good to see you, sir. We are very happy to welcome you to the table of the knights and the dames, and the table is round. I hereby pronounce to KD Sir Chris of Carmel by the Sea as a new knight of the No Agenda Roundtable. For you, my friend, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Drama and DMT, Johnny Walker Green Label, Video Games and Vaporizers, Sake and Sushi, Root Beer and Pepperoni Pizza, Malted Barley and Hops, Root Beer and Legos, Porn Stars and Pot, Rubenesque Women and Rosé, and of course we have our Mutton and Mead, which is always a favorite. Go to noagendanation.com/rings, pick it up and or give us your info, and Eric will send it out to you ASAP. And thank you all so much for supporting the work here at the No Agenda Show.
Since you're getting your mojo back, let's play something to bring you down.
Please.
Clip CO2 highest.
Okay.
The global level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has topped 400 parts per million for the longest time in recorded history. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the grim milestone was reached on average for the entire month of March. The 400 parts per million threshold has been an important marker in UN climate change negotiations, widely recognized as a dangerous level that could drastically worsen human-caused global warming. The environmentalist group 350.org takes its name after the 350 parts per million threshold that scientists say is the maximum atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide for a safe planet.
Yeah, that's right. We're way over it. What are these guys going to do with their name?
Grim. They got to change it.
I wonder.
Grim fact. To record all of recorded history of mankind. This is the highest it's been for a sustained period. Isn't that something? It's a historic thing.
Yes, we should be celebrating.
Since you're laughing there, we're going to move on to another clip you might enjoy.
Well, hold on. Can we stick with global warming for a moment, or do you?
You got global warming material?
Yes, I do. I have some material for you. One big news from down under. Mr. I'm sorry?
Texas?
No, down under. Mr. Abbott's chief business advisor. That would be Prime Minister Tony Abbott, Mr. Abbott.
Right, Abbott.
His, let me see, what was this guy?
Abbott.
This guy's name is Mr. Newman, and he was his chief business advisor. He says, climate change is a United Nations hoax to end democracy.
Oh, he's taking it one step beyond anything anyone else has done.
Here it is.
Well, wait, hold on a second.
I'm going to read some of this.
In 2006, 2000, when we were doing the show, were we running into material, the early material that was kind of indicating they wanted to set up global governance because of climate change?
Yeah, first we have the climate change, the carbon exchange, and that would be the monetary part. And then, yes, global governance, of course. Well, he puts it, I guess he wrote a column, which was published in the Australian. This is why, and I like that this has happened. No one has said that here yet like this. Under the subheading, the international body's real agenda is a new world order under its control, Mr. Newman wrote. This is not about facts or logic. It's about a new world order under the control of the United Nations. It's opposed to capitalism and freedom. It's about a new world order under the control of the UN. It's a well-kept secret. 95% of the climate models, we are told, prove the link between human CO2 emissions and catastrophic global warming have been found after nearly 2 decades of temperature stasis to be an error. Now, this seems to me like it's so blatantly nutty and has so many, although true, of course, that it's just being put out there just to make naysayers and people who question the science sound nuttier.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's exactly what this is. You nailed it. That's exactly what this is.
But there was another.
And the editors are doing high five.
Oh, yeah. Like, ha ha.
Can we change a couple of the adjectives and make it sound?
Hey, we even got the No Agenda guys to talk about it. Yeah, it's great. Good work. There was, however, from University of Bristol, a nice paper that came out. It's published by Science Daily. And it's a warning to people who are all in on the global warming, man-made global warming, thus climate change, how climate science denial affects the science community. This is very interesting.
Oh, I get it already. This is, let me guess. It's because of the bogativeness of this, what these guys are up to with the lies and the computer models and the cover-ups, the climate gate and all the rest of it. It makes, and then the deniers come out with maybe some logic and say, well, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And they get shouted down. Mm-hmm. The whole atmosphere becomes anti-science because the science people are bullies. They're thugs.
I'll read from this article. Climate change denial in public, and this is like one of those official papers because it comes from the university. So I guess it means something. Climate change denial in public discourse may encourage climate scientists to overemphasize scientific uncertainty and is also affecting how they themselves speak and perhaps even think about their own research. This is the study from the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom. So what this is saying is that because and they have a couple of terms for this, which I'm going to find here. Because of this, scientists are putting a lot of wiggle room into, remember the IPCC report where they have somewhat likely, extremely likely, boy, we're so sure it's likely, but not kind of likely.
Yep.
Which is because it's not really scientifically proven. It's only a model predicting something.
Models. Computer models are notoriously wrong.
But I love that it's gotten to the point where the study says climate scientists might even start thinking that their research is incorrect. And according to the study, multiple lines of evidence indicate that global warming continues unabated, which implies that talk of a pause or a hiatus is misleading. So then they go into some explanation about, this is not the first time it's slowed down, et cetera, et cetera. Why might scientists be affected by contrarian public discourse? The study argues that 3 recognized psychological mechanisms are at work. This is my favorite stuff. One is the stereotype threat. Have you ever heard of these?
No.
Stereotype threat refers to the emotional and behavior responses when a person is reminded of an adverse stereotype against a group to which they belong. Thus, when scientists are stereotyped as alarmists, a predicted response would be for them to try to avoid seeming alarmist by downplaying the degree of the threat. Oh, very bad, of course. See, this is a big problem. Because of a-hole climate science deniers, or let's just say climate deniers, which is what the president calls now. You deny climate. Because of that, the global warmists are afraid to ring the alarm, which is very bad.
I haven't seen any evidence of this.
Well, the University of Bristol disagrees. Then we have pluralistic ignorance.
Ooh.
Is a good term. Pluralistic ignorance describes the phenomenon which arises when a minority opinion is given disproportionate prominence in public debate, resulting in the majority of people incorrectly assuming their opinion is marginalized. Wow, that's rich. Thus, a public...
Read that one. You got to start over.
Yeah, this is good. Pluralistic ignorance describes the phenomenon which arises when a minority opinion is given disproportionate prominence in public debate, resulting in the majority of people incorrectly assuming their opinion is marginalized. Wow, that's flipping it on its head. So they're saying so many climate deniers are being given media time that the true climate scientists who are all in and all right feel marginalized.
How about turning that around? It's just the opposite. The majority of people don't believe in any of this, and the climate warmists are getting lots of airtime.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making the majority of people, which are the ones that are looking at this logically, feel like, well, maybe I'm wrong. And that's why some of these guys bail out at the end. You've seen these guys do it. They're, oh, it's bullshit. And then, okay, I'm in.
Well, the University of Bristol draws a different conclusion in their study. Thus, a public discourse that asserts that the IPCC has exaggerated the threat of climate change may cause scientists who disagree to think their views are in the minority, and they may therefore feel inhibited from speaking out in public. I think that's
what I just said. I think that was what I tried to express.
I think it's exactly the opposite of what you just said.
No. I said that the majority of people are climate deniers, and they get no airtime, and they start to lose faith in their own beliefs, and because of the emphasis on the other guys.
Oh, okay. So
in the media, I mean, if you listen to the media, I've never seen anybody that's just. In fact, they have these guys. We've had clips of these guys saying, "Well, we have to have more experts, and all news media should be twisted. So whatever the story is, it's because of climate change."
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes. Yeah. And then the final one is the third person effect. Research shows that people generally believe that persuasive communications exert a stronger effect on others than on themselves. This is known as the third person effect. However, in actual fact, people tend to be more affected by persuasive messages than they think. Oh. This suggests the scientific community may be susceptible to arguments against climate change, even when they know them to be false. Oh, you bad scientists, you. Bad.
The science is in.
Science! But there's more. It's worse.
Doesn't the line know them to be false kind of like twisted?
Well, this may be a way to back out. Like people, I've got third person problems. What was the other one? I like the other one better. What was
pluralistic ignorance.
I'm sorry. I'm just filled with pluralistic ignorance today. I'm PI. But wait, as you know, here in Austin, Texas, one of the things that is never advertised when you come to the great state, the great Lone Star State, you come to the fabulously hip town of Austin, Texas, what do they never tell you about?
The weather?
The allergies.
Oh, yeah, the allergies.
Dr. Natalie Azar joins us right now to talk about this pollen tsunami. Sounds like we made it up.
Pollen tsunami.
All right, there's your show title.
Pollen tsunami.
Tsunami. Sounds like we made it up, but this is real. It's a terrible allergy season.
It's a terrible allergy season. A couple reasons. One is that we had a really late winter, so we're having a bunch of different pollens converging on us at the same time right now, tree and grass. Another reason is climate change raises carbon dioxide levels.
The science is in.
Yeah, it's
what we're talking about. You got to just make climate change part of every argument. Oh, and let me ask you this:
I don't want to give you a blowjob because of climate change.
Yeah,
we got to come up with a better one.
Yeah, that's not a.
I just ate bugs. No, that won't work. Don't kiss me. I just ate bugs for climate change. No.
Hurricanes. This report that came out said it's ridiculous how few since Katrina in 2004 or 5, one of the two.
It's 9 years now, going on 9.
Yeah, 9 years of nothing.
Yeah.
And now, there's two things that come to mind. You had the one you like to harp on, which was the commentary from these warmists that, the kids in England will never get to see snow again.
Yes. Only in a snow globe.
Only in a snow globe. And meanwhile, it's been, it snows and it snowed more than ever in a couple of these years.
Yes.
And then the other one, and you heard it, I heard it, everyone listening to this show has heard it. Oh, my God. It's going to be decades of superstorms and hurricanes of level 5, number of whatever that number
Category
is.
5.
Category 5, horrible hurricanes will be pounding us. And there hasn't been jack.
Yeah. Well, luckily there's a site.
At what point does the public say, hey,
no.
Shut up.
There also, there's a super typhoon on its way to, I think, the Philippines.
Oh?
Yeah. Well, that'll help.
Happened before.
Yeah, it'll help.
Yeah, I guess they can maybe use that as well. They're over here now.
Yeah.
I find it distressing.
Well, but this study from the University of Bristol, to me, I don't know, the way they frame all of this, I'm thinking that their people they want to back out and but this is either meant to help them, ease them out, I couldn't take it. I was marginalized. But I give up. Although I don't see how anyone would give up on the money, because that's where it all is.
Well, the money's being cut out. I don't know if I have the clip.
Let me guess. Sequestration?
No, it's a. I don't think I took it. Let's see, charter school CO2. I think I left it. But the clip was on Democracy Now, and it was the new Republican. It's always the Republicans' fault. They're going to cut back a bunch of the funding that was going.
Is this charter school? This is from
no, not the charter school one. This is different. This was I don't have the clip, but they're pulling a bunch of funds from these researchers that are just spending all their money on proving there's climate change going on when there's proving nothing. They're just taking the money. In fact, this money thing is because the charter schools thing is worth playing. This is the play this charter schools. I'm going to stop this at some point because it's on Democracy Now. There's now some anti-charter school thing going on, and play this.
Where is this going on? This anti-charter school thing?
On the left somewhere. I mean, they're really all over it on Democracy Now. Play charter schools. Long intro.
Well, with the Obama administration asking Congress to increase funding for charter schools by almost 50%, we turn to a major new report that claims charter schools are already spending billions of dollars of federal money with nearly no oversight, regulation, or accountability.
Certainly here in Texas.
The report was released by the Center for Media and Democracy and is called New Documents Show How Taxpayer Money is Wasted by Charter Schools. According to the report, the federal government has spent more than $3 billion over the past 2 decades on the charter school industry. But there is no comprehensive database showing how those funds are spent and what results they produce.
The new report analyzes materials obtained from open records requests regarding independent audits of how states interact with charter schools and their authorizers. It concludes that the anti-regulatory environment around charter schools, coupled with their lack of financial transparency, warrants a moratorium rather than increased charter funding. Well, for more, we go to Denver, Colorado, to Denver Open Media, where we're joined by Lisa.
This is a lot of groups that I hear in this here. Did you look up any of these groups, like Denver Open Media?
Well, okay, this is the problem with this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of charter schools, and I have reasons that are whatever they are. This woman that's going to come on, and she's going to yak for a while. And then there's a second clip, which actually has her kind of being a little more concise. She's from these are all, let's summarize by saying she's also one of the members or founders of the Stop the Koch brothers, or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
End Koch brothers! So and they bring this up, I don't have the clip of it, but in there, they're bitching about the Koch brothers again, as though they're behind the whole thing, the whole charter scam, because it's a bunch of moneymakers.
When it's okay. Wow. No.
So that kind of screws up. I mean, I think the report is probably valid, and I think they have some, but what's happened, it seems to me, is that the liberals who have always been kind of in, never all in, but kind of in on the charter school idea, if they can get their kids into them.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's because the Koch brothers seem to be in on it.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Hey, these guys are doing some good work, actually.
Well,
if you want to get rid of something, just bring in Charles.
Charles in particular.
Hey, Charles, come on in, man. Just sit on the board here so people can get the fuck out of here. We can end this.
Yeah.
More of the intro?
Yeah, you can play a little.
I'm interested. We're going to Denver.
Graves, executive director of the Center for Media and Democracy.
Maybe we should stop right now, because I see this question coming up and we take it for granted. We need to address what a charter school is. This is a U.S. term, a U.S. phenomenon. Maybe it's important to just explain what it is.
Okay. Let's go to the Book of Knowledge. Let's go to the Book of Knowledge and get the official explanation.
Okay. Now, paraphrasing, I'd say you can start a school. Anybody can start a school. The government has money available for that, for you to run the school, and that's how these schools are created. And they are, I believe, often profitable, if not ancillary profitable.
A charter school is a school that receives public funding but operates independently of the established public school system in which it is located. So the school board has nothing to do with these things. And they are set up by proposals in some way, shape, or form, and they send money. They ask the government for money to let them go.
Haven't we discussed looking at this at one point, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah.
About setting up a school, charter school?
Yeah. There's
another great idea we had.
Well, we have a lot of great ideas. There's a charter school in Albany that is in what I could only describe as a small storefront that used to be a tennis racket stringing operation. And it's just like the thing has got like 2 desks. It's like, I don't know what they're up to, but it's just screwy. Anyway, charter schools are an example of alternative education. These things.
Is this state money or federal money?
Mostly federal. Federal,
right? Yeah.
But state too, both of them. They get money from every which way. Minnesota, I'll read some more. Minnesota wrote the first charter school law in the United States in 1991. As of 2011, they now have 149 registered charter schools with over 35,000 students attending. The first of these was Bluffview Montessori School. Okay. Well, since then, 43 states and the District of Columbia have approved the formation of charter schools. So these are schools outside the system that are supposed to be better because they're privately run and they're operated with, as a private sector. It's like a private school, but it's a private school that gets government money. Right. So the problem that these guys are having, and this woman comes on, you don't have to play any more of that clip.
Okay.
Go to the second clip because it summarizes a little better.
Well, Lisa, one of the things that your report highlights is this black hole of accountability when it comes to charter schools, that the federal government is not holding the states responsible for the money it gives to the states for charter schools. The states are not holding their own charter authorizing agencies or even the individual charter schools accountable. And you conclude that this was not by accident.
That's right. One of the things we've seen over and over again are promises by the Department of Education to do more to hold charter schools accountable. But what you see on the ground, based on the audits, based on the Inspector General's report, is a real lack of controls. You basically have the Department of Education's charter operation sort of encouraging the states to do more. Meanwhile, you have audits that show that in many instances, the states have no idea where the money was spent once it went into the charter school system. They don't know how many kids were really served. They don't know what happened to assets that were purchased through our tax dollars. And there's a recent report last week from the Center for Popular Democracy that shows through looking through federal and state criminal fraud indictments that there's been more than $200 million worth of fraud in the charter school industry. And so this sort of circumstance calls for much greater control, much greater restraint, rather than the 50% increase that the administration has called for charter school funding.
Here's what's worrisome in the great state of Texas. 150 schools, charter schools, are part of the Harmony Schools network. And we've discussed this. This is funded by and run by Fethullah Gulen.
Right. The Turkish guy.
The Turkish guy in Pennsylvania. He lives up on the hill under protection, who is always fighting with Erdogan in Turkey. And many of his schools in different parts of Europe, I can only speak to the ones in the Netherlands, were accused of being madrasas, i.e. where kids go to be indoctrinated with Islam and Sharia.
Memorize the Quran.
And sleep there and stay there. And then but anyway, they kick those out. They kick the schools out. But here in Texas, they're always trying to catch him on some RICO sting. With the FBI is always trying to get finances, but nothing ever comes out of it. Where really no one is looking at what these kids are being taught. And tons of administrators here in Texas are going on these cool little freebie trips to Turkey. Hey, why don't you come take a look in Turkey? We'll have a little conversation about the Harmony schools in Turkey. And they're all in, of course. They all go. A friend of mine is doing a documentary on this. That's why I know. Which will be good.
It won't change anything.
Well, maybe it change. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
it'll just be good, and everyone will go, "Oh," and it'll be like "Oh, now I know," and then nothing changes.
Yeah.
Well, this goes on, and the Koch brothers are blamed. And then the weird thing, if you heard this part of it that you just listened to, they kind of scold the Department of Education for being incompetent boneheads.
Yeah.
But because the Koch brothers and the conservatives, generally speaking, want to just dissolve the Department of Education because it's really pretty useless. That's what the rationale is. Why are we wasting our money on this? The states can do all this stuff. But because the Koch brothers are part of that, all of a sudden, and this, I don't have a clip of it, but they turn around, even though they're bitching and moaning about these charter schools, to defend, because they're liberals, defend the Department of Education, saying how important it is. Right. So the thing falls apart. But it's interesting that there's an attack going on. That's what I thought was interesting.
Right. Well, there's also the KIPP charter schools, and I've actually heard very good things about the KIPP charter schools. So this good and bad. The ones in Chicago, that's more interesting when, you have 15 public schools taken out, you put 15 charter schools in, and it's all a pipeline into Cisco, who have a new office there. And they're not bashful about saying it. And the more I think about it, the more sense it makes. I mean, look, if we need robots, we need people to do maintenance on the drones and other autonomous vessels.
Yeah, well, we came up with that on the show, showing how it's a pipeline.
Yeah, it's a complete pipeline.
Pipeline to a robotic, drone-like job where you can be replaced eventually by a real robot instead of these human robots, which are not quite as good.
And it's interesting to see how many people are so happy and think it's so incredibly cool. That's kind of the culture, of course, the religion of technology. About the autonomous trucks. And some people even, where I made a joke on Twitter about this, and some people say, well, things changed when the horse and buggy drivers were out of work, when the automobiles and
nice.
Yeah, but look at all the people. If there's no more truck drivers, why do you need a truck stop? Just have some rails.
Yeah, the cascade effect is outrageous.
You don't need anyone with any food.
There goes half our listeners.
Yeah, that's right. You just killed off our audience. Truck drivers are dead. That's all gone. But so much. Yeah. What did you call it?
Cascade effect.
Cascade effect. Right. The cascade effect. The unintended consequences of cascading technological revolutions. There you go.
Of course, then we have this guy, Kurzweil, commenting on this. He's a complete maniac, and he's talking about everything. He was on NewsHour.
Is this because of his article about us living in the Matrix?
I don't know what it was. Why? I think it's more about his article that we're all doomed.
These technology,
this is a singularity crap. We're all going to
expand exponentially. They double in power roughly every year. So look at the Genome Project. It was a 15-year project. Halfway through the project, 7.5 years into it, 1% had been completed. So some people looked at it and said, well, 1%, we just barely got started. I looked at it and said, 1%, well, we're halfway through, because 1% is only 7 doublings from 100%, and it doubled every year. 7 years later, it was finished. So from one perspective, we're at an early stage in artificial intelligence, but exponentials start out slowly and then they take off.
One such technology is the self-driving car.
Woo! Yeah.
This is a misleading argument of his.
What exactly? He lost me at doubling. I didn't understand what he was saying.
He's claiming that he, for some reason, projects the Moore's Law, which reminds me, I've got to do another column on this. Moore's Law, where the number of transistors on a square inch doubles every 18 months. Right.
Of
course, he changed that to a year. And because the number of transistors double every 18 months or so, you end up with this technological exponential growth. All of a sudden, you got all these items are
Facebook gets faster. Facebook loads faster. Netflix loads faster.
Everything's better, faster, cheaper. But this doesn't apply to everything. He says it applies to everything pretty much. So when the Genome Project was got no real technology aspect to it, except computer used for analyzing the genetic structure. It went pretty quickly after the first 1% was done, according to him. I don't know that this is even true. Then he figured he was halfway there. So however long it takes to get so what he's claiming is however long it takes to get to 1% is like if it takes 5 years, then in 10 years, you'll be at the 100% mark when I would throw back at him, take a look at character recognition or book reading or handwriting recognition. Well, we got to the 1% pretty quickly. Then we got to the 98%, and then we haven't moved an inch.
Hey, Siri. Stop.
Hey, Siri. Hello, Google.
Okay, Google.
Okay, Google.
Delete my calendar. Google. Alexa, turn on the lights. Oh, shoot. She actually does that. Sorry.
Anyway, so it was just something dumb. Meanwhile, I was watching. I saw there was an event with just kind of the usual suspects. I don't know why Eric Schmidt is writing so many books, but he wrote another book.
Oh, no.
And he was being interviewed and I know you're a huge fan of Melissa Meyer.
Well, I like Marissa. I don't know about Melissa. I like Marissa.
Melissa, I meant Marissa.
Even your clip says Melissa.
I'd probably say Melissa.
I'm a big fan of Marissa Meyer. I think she is a fantastic figurehead of a company.
She's got this.
She's smoking
you
hot.
like her because you think she's kind of hot. She's got this.
I'm a fan. I like what she does. I like what she says.
Just let me finish. So I want you to listen to her sultry voice, and she has a fascinating laugh.
No. Don't do this to me. This is like
fascinating laugh.
Instant innie. No. This is
that you appreciate.
No, this is digital castration. This is not fair.
So he watched it and he said, "Yeah, I can't use this." And I was really grateful as I watched my career and my compliment of being funny flash before my eyes that you had a sense of humor in that moment. How important is a sense of humor as an executive? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is how Google works. And a real-life example of an exciting debate. It's been such an honor.
So when are you applying to work for us?
Oh, man. I could put my hand over her mouth. Come on.
What?
I
thought you'd appreciate it. Now you have a little.
But you know what? This is where you're. Okay. At least we also laugh about Jeff Bezos's laugh.
Very similar.
It is, which is the hallmark of a great CEO. A crazy ass laugh.
Must be.
I think so. I've been reading the European Commission's report. It's now bubbling up to the top now that we have a couple things behind us. The digital single market. We've discussed this before. And the idea is, and they have a huge website for it, all kinds of smart papers and stuff. And they're talking about making cross-border commerce easier. So, they're going to simplify the VAT rules. Right now, selling cross-border within the EU you have all these compliance issues. It is a nightmare. But also, they want to modernize copyright law. To ensure the right balance between creators and consumers' interests. And they also want to work with all stakeholders in... Stakeholders, yes. In removing illegal content from the internet.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, and so this is always interesting to me as what exactly is illegal content. And a lot of it really revolves around copyright law, of course, for Hollywood, etc. But when you see the most recent case in the European Court of Justice, it appears now that linking to copyrighted material is also going to be deemed infringing on someone's copyright. Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Wait, so somebody links to my column in PC Magazine. I'm all for this. I mean,
that's not exactly. It's not exactly how it works.
Oh, okay.
If someone had copied your column and put it on WordPress, like favorite columns at WordPress.com, and then someone links to the column there. Now, I don't see why that's a good example because it would be better for, pictures, movies, songs, etc. That's easier to understand the example. Just linking to it will get you in legal trouble. They're pushing it. I'm seeing this coming into play as part of the digital single market, along with licensing. So if you actually want to do it, you would be a journalist, you would blogger license, so you're recognized everywhere as a blogger. Meanwhile, you just got licensed to be a blogger. All of these things are. This truly is the boiling frog over there, man, in Europe.
Well, this isn't good.
No. Then we have.
That's what you expect. I've said it before. We're living in the golden age of the internet. We'll look back on this and say, "Wow, you used to be able to do everything you wanted to do. It was kind of cool." Daddy, Granddad, you could actually go download things? Yes, you could. Yes, you could. And you could print whatever you wanted. You could just set up a website and put down and type whatever you wanted without a license.
And you could, yes, yes, exactly. Well, another prediction coming true, unfortunately. Actually, it's a double whammy. We've talked about these trackers in cars and of course, also your life trackers, your Fitbits and your slave jewelry from Apple, etc. This will become, first, it'll be a good deal if you use it because your insurance company will give you a break on your premium. Then eventually it will become the norm and you'll just be penalized if you don't have some form of tracking on your body.
They're trying to do that with cars right now.
Right, but check this out. This is phase 3 of the Meaningful Use Program. I received this from Scott, one of our producers. Beholden's physicians to prove they are using computers and collecting and sharing health data with other healthcare providers and patients, and it must be 15% of their patients that they do this for, and this includes Fitbits, etc. If they do not comply, they will lose some of the Medicaid reimbursements.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
Huh. Medicaid or Medicare?
Medicaid. So
let's stop a second.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes more sense that it'd be Medicare, but if it's Medicaid,
let me double check. I'm reading.
And I'll tell you why it would make more sense. Medicaid.
I'm sorry. You're right. Medicare. I'm sorry. Cut in Medicare payments for services rendered. I'm sorry. You're right. I always get confused. Maybe you should explain it to me. What's the difference?
Medicare is health insurance.
Okay, and Medicaid is people who are poor.
Is welfare.
Welfare. Okay, so this would be Medicare payments. So that makes more sense.
I would say that didn't make sense is because these guys can't afford a Fitbit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Obligated to collect data from at least 15% of their patients or suffer a cut in Medicare payments for services rendered.
Huh.
And this is the Meaningful Use Program.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. And that means, you know what that means, of course, 15% today.
Yeah. Yeah. Then there's that part of it. Yeah. But think about how smart Apple is.
Oh.
To jump in. Oh, yeah.
It may have jumped in prematurely.
I think this has to be implemented, but possible.
Heil Apple.
Good work, everybody. Heil. Yes, very nice.
Huh. Well, the Fitbit guys are, the smart money is going to be, Apple will have their device, but the Fitbit, which is cheap, they have them at Costco.
That's really it, yeah.
Is where the money is.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, I don't know. The Apple thing is still up in the air.
The death knell of the company, if you ask me.
Well, my thinking, because I know Apple's a great short, and I don't want to give stock tips here or any ideas to anybody, but my thinking is always, well, when's it going to top? When's the Apple? It's going to go up and down. It's going to go down. It's going to collapse. It's not going to collapse. My thinking is when the first Apple store closes, that's when you start looking at it. Right now, they're still opening more. But when the first one closes, and I don't mean like the one in Palo Alto that closed so they could build another one down the block.
Like Kiev.
Yeah, same thing.
Apple Store Kiev.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. What else you got?
I have a bunch of tech news things, but really not anything like super tech news, geeky stuff. Like I have some geeky stuff. You have tech news, and we can do.
I don't have tech news.
Okay, let me just run through a couple of these.
I have a couple of things. I got. A sexual assaults up or down?
No, not. I don't want it. That's.
You want to play Melissa Meyer again?
No, at the end of the show, I'll play it.
Okay. Also, I've got Nike BS. This is good. This would crack me up because they're trying to push down everyone's throat. I don't know why are they keeping this TPP, whatever this Trans-Pacific Partnership. Why are they keeping everything a secret? Do you have any clue on this?
Because it's not agreed to yet. Because they're still in conversation. This is nothing has been agreed to.
Well, why can't it just be open for people to look at? What difference does it make?
Well, everyone has it. They keep leaking the draft documents. It's not like, it's just, I don't know.
All right, play the Nike BS and TPP.
Footwear giant Nike has announced it will create 10,000 jobs in the United States if the controversial Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Deal, or TPP, is approved. The 12-nation pact would encompass 40% of the global economy and is being negotiated in secret. Critics say the deal would hurt workers, undermine regulations, and expand corporate power. Nike says the agreement would allow it to invest in U.S.-based production. The announcement coincides with President Obama's visit today to Nike headquarters in Oregon.
Well, Obama's all in on this, and meeting with Phil, the guy who runs Nike. How does this make any logical sense? The Trans-Pacific Partnership. Why would it make it so all of a sudden, out of the blue, when he could never do it before, Knight, the guy who runs the place, can now open up shop here in the U.S. of A. and hire 10,000 people? Unless they're slave labor, I mean, it doesn't make sense.
I'll try and explain. The pros and cons are very simple. We do not have a free trade agreement, which means that certain products, I know candles, if you want to import candles from Europe, there's some crazy, or at least at one point, there was 40% import tax.
Hold on a second. Are you telling me that those candles around your bathtub, you're using so many of them that you had to look into this to find out that importing candles, you're going to import them? Is that what it was?
No, I'm going back to 1989 when my first wife was putting candles around the bathtub, but I said, "Wow, that's really expensive." And she said, "Yeah, candles are expensive here versus Europe, where they're very cheap." Then I said, "Well, maybe we should import candles for a business." Until I found out that there were huge import duties, taxes on candles.
All right, you may continue.
Okay, thank you. So there's all kinds of restrictions, also, of course, on petroleum products, all kinds of reasons to do this. But of course, what the naysayers, the counterpart, is saying, well, this is no good because then we will all have to adhere to trade practices and employment laws that will be, slave-like, because that's how we roll here. We got nothing but slaves. And obviously, this is truly what Abbott's buddy there is saying. This is how you create the New World Order. It would be a huge coming together of Europe or the EU, of the United States. Japan will be in on it. So there's two documents, obviously. We have the TTIP and the TPP. But once he gets the TSA, the fast track authority, TPA, whatever it's called, then the president can go ahead and move forward with it. I would like it to all move forward very quickly, please. Get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off, expose everybody so we can see what's really going on, and then maybe people will get pissed off enough to do something about it.
You're not going to get pissed off about anything except using the word thug.
Exactly. All right, then I'll do my little tech bits. Maybe not. Unintended consequences of technology. I don't know if we discussed that. That Google's or Waze, and Google as well, I presume, that redirects traffic around back streets. That now in Los Angeles, this is becoming a problem. People in the hills and other places where it was always quiet, and now you've got cars rushing through their streets during rush hour, and everyone's pissed off about it. And they actually want to ask Google to change the recommended routes during certain hours, so that don't route it through people's neighborhood. Please. U.S. military, starting with Fort Huachua. Is that how you pronounce it? Huachua?
I have no idea.
In Arizona. No longer will be teaching Morse code.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, this is good. It'll become encrypted technology.
Yes, I guess it's like speaking Navajo.
Yeah. And then there's some other ham radio satellite launch that's a transponder with PSK-31. I'm actually kind of excited about that. So I can communicate. I can communicate digitally through this satellite. And anyone within sight of the satellite can then receive it. I think it's...
Which should be half the hemisphere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I should get back on the stick.
I've had my D-Star radio on almost every single day on channel 33. Well, it's been months since I heard anyone on there. Months.
Huh.
Nobody cares.
Well, I'll go on. I keep my D-Star in the car.
Really? Good.
Yeah, it's just in case of emergency.
The question is, do you have it in a Faraday bag?
No. I don't.
You should consider.
That's a good point.
You should consider.
I think I'll make my glove box a Faraday cage. That would work.
Producers worldwide, please think of us at Dvorak.org/NA.
And you know, when you have those transponders for the bridge, they follow you around all over San Francisco apparently just tracks you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You need a Faraday thing, or aluminum foil works.
You do. Thursday, we will be at it once again. And you never know what we'll discover. Oh, yes. Very important. Today, all the Fletcher Fest shouts are in the show notes. And on Thursday, we shall be knighting Herr Fletcher for his great work.
Does he have a Fletcher shout?
Yeah, somewhere we've got that, I'm sure.
Did he shouts his name?
I think so. I think so. And several other things. Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star States, Crackpot Condo, downtown Austin. Good morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where as I look out, I see that the traffic, for some unknown reason, on a Sunday around noon is backed up. I don't know why. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday right here on No Agenda.
Amen. Fist bump.
Douchebag check. No, douchebag check.
So he watched the video and he said, yeah, I can't use this. And I was really grateful as I watched my career and my compliment of being funny flash before my eyes that you had a sense of humor in that moment. How important is a sense of humor as an executive? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is how Google works. And a real-life example of inciting debate. It's been such an honor.
So when are you applying to work for us?
Amen. Fist bump.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA